Back to positive territory. Can we get back to positive territory? Individual names setting up in a way that, yeah, we could. That's the way the futures are looking right now. Only 0.35 when last we spoke was better part of a full percent to the downside. 0.13 for the Dow right now was the first to go green yesterday, looking to do the same here today. 0.76, meanwhile, for the NASDAQ, well off of the lows. TSX 0.1 here in Toronto. Crude oil still hanging on to about 0.5% there. That move up, trying to hold that we got on the crude oil inventories. If you missed it, smaller than expected build this week in crude oil inventories, so move higher for oil. 0.76 for Bitcoin, Ethereum as well, 2.7 back to the upside. Still watching some clean energy names this afternoon, trying to get back higher. We'll start down here. SEDG, ENPH, however, not participating yet. That's both of them there. I know it's behind the graphic, but trust me when I say they've been weak all day. There's First Solar as well, 1.3 off that negative note this morning. Some of the other semiconductors specifically, though, trying to show some strength. ON Semiconductors, Skyworks there, QRVO as well, to name a few, coming off ASML overnight that had better than expected earnings, but downside for them as well. ADP, CDAY, PayX, meanwhile, leading in the software group specifically. Pretty negative day for software stocks right across the board, with Microsoft leading, obviously, to the downside coming off earnings. But I say that with a giant but. We are moving in the right direction, back higher. Banks, meanwhile, still the strongest of the day. They went green first. They're trying to hold on to it as well. COF there, 8.8%. MKTX in the diversified group. Both earnings names, both higher off of those reports. NASDAQ itself, NDAQ, downside in a big way, 6%. Revenue and profit missing expectation for the exchange we trade on all day, every day, they reported. NWSA, Warner Brothers, NWS, that was that Fox News Sharif was telling everyone about this morning. Fox itself up 2%, NWS 4.6%. There's AT&T as well. Good report for them. NEE in the utilities group, also another earnings name. But yeah, very mixed right now, 0.43 in negative territory. Ton to get through here this afternoon. More negativity for Google as we head towards earnings coming up here in a couple of weeks. Actually, next week for Google. Going to be a crazy week next week. Apple, Alphabet, the Fed, to name a few things that we'll have on our minds. Tesla to come, obviously, more headlines coming through this today, even with Tesla. So what's the report going to be like? We'll learn about it after the close. Typically, they report a little bit later on, so we probably won't be able to show you at the end of the day, but we'll be talking about it in depth, obviously, tomorrow. I hope your afternoon is going well. Let's get right into what was available to you this morning for opportunities. Make sure you're grabbing the watch list and make sure you come join us at 8:30 every single day. If you haven't done so yet, I'll give you the link here in a few minutes, but it's very simple. Comes right to your inbox, absolutely free. You come join us then at 8:30. We talk about how to trade all of these things. Neil is here. He's going to lead us off with a look at one of his trades.
We're going to be looking at Google today, your trade of the day, brought to you by Day Trade the World. As always, check out the QR code just below to get your day trading journey started. Interestingly enough, on a day where Microsoft reports earnings, having a great day, and we'll talk some Tesla a little bit later on because that's going to be crazy. It was all about Alphabet. And what I love about this, Google, Alphabet, doesn't really matter, is the symmetry of the numbers. This is a 60-minute chart I have up here. But the other day, we got to pretty much exactly 100, and there were shorts off 100. As a day trader, we kind of like these really obvious sort of lines in the sand where you can sort of dig in and just say, let's just short the top, give it a really tight risk, and then your R&R is very clear, and you know exactly where you're wrong when it fails a certain level. However, in the afternoon yesterday, you had a kind of a bit of a head and shoulders on the 60-minute forming here because there was resistance at 98. You had a 98 bottom. In the afternoon, there were some good shorts off the 98 level. That's something we were focused on. So you get that $2. $2 from there is the 96. Now, everything was dragged to the downside. Not everything, but just about everything in big tech was dragged down by Microsoft earnings. And so that 96 level is going to be the first one to come in here. At the open, there was an attempted flush. It's kind of crazy because I actually was waiting around for 96, thinking, okay, I want to short off that 96 level. Let's see it pop up that $2. I think you can have a $2 range to that downside if it does. And it just starts wiping out at the open in the 95. It's like, oh, crap, you missed it. You don't have to chase the move in a situation like that. You know the price you want. At 9:30, a lot of times, mistakes at the NYSE notwithstanding, you're going to have a lot of whipsaw action. And that's exactly what we got. Popped right back up, wait for your price, not short here at 95.5, waited for it to challenge 96. You get a wick top, which means it broke that resistance at 96, failed to hold above that price, and then slammed right back down. So short just beneath that 96 level, and then from here it's just a matter of getting out. Halfway to 95, we scalp some out. Now a lot of times you're thinking, get some out in front of 95. However, you got a 95 bottom here, double bottom. I'm thinking with the momentum to the downside and looking for this 94 level to get taken out on a bigger time frame, add to the position. You know, don't take it out at that situation. Add to it on the 95 break. So while still in position, we add to it on the 95 break. Given we still have some from 96, do want to cover some right in that 94.75. A little bit more aggressive out because we are still covering from before. And then that point, once we've taken out 94.5, I'm just thinking about the test of the 94 area. A couple of things can happen when you get down into that price range. Either we're going to blow through this 94, in which case you've got a lot of chop, 91.5, 92 you can see, where you're probably likely to catch a bit of a bid, or we're going to reject the break of 94. And if we reject the break, I'm just out of the short. I've heard the term said before, if abort the short, the long can't be wrong. And I suppose in this particular case, shout out to my man Luca, that would have been correct. You know, we failed to break at 94. You get a couple of wick bottoms. I end up taking it out on this last retest. It did signify a good turn. I didn't go into the long in that one. If there's one thing that I could say could have been done better here is once you got to that ultimate target of 94, it was a chance to reverse into the long position, scalp it out a little bit. Not nearly as big of a free fall. Like it was so easy that short. It was instantly in the money. You're instantly able to add to it. Never in trouble at any point on the position. However, there was a pretty clean reversal at those bottoms. Those caught a lot of people off guard. Google, weak name here today because of cloud, but I love those easy even dollar levels that it gave you here today. And reason not to take out in front of a key level, but to add to your position. You don't always have to average down. You can average up by getting more shares when it's in the money for you. There's your trade of the day, brought to you by Day Trade the World as always.
It's going to be the second for Alphabet and Google. We'll get the Fed on the first. We'll get Apple and Google coming up the very next day. So next week's going to be a little bit exciting. That is the link I was discussing early on. Make sure you grab that every single day. Very easy. Just enter your email address, then it comes right to your inbox. The watch list for free every single day from us to you. Here is Microsoft, the other big storyline of the morning, obviously coming off of earnings after the close yesterday. Very positive up here after market, and then they get on their conference call and slam it right back down, saying cloud computing is going to be a little bit softer than expected going into the next quarter. So we've been doing nothing really, hit 232 and been doing nothing but grinding higher all day long. So this was the initial headline that came through on the report itself. And then, as I mentioned, they throw cold water on it. Disappointing with Q3 cloud revenue outlook, guys, for Microsoft. But here we are, just 0.5% from positive now.
Yo, what's up? Yeah, I only have 126 fills on Microsoft right now, but welcome back to the afternoon show, and we'll do a little bit of a rundown coming through right now. Microsoft red to green. What an amazing day for Microsoft. Not quite green yet, but getting there for MSFT. I think did it go green at one point? Maybe it did. 241.50. We had the short real early, man, and these are 236s, even higher than that. And there's our outs. We kept going short until the tide turned, and then we had a long. Like, we absolutely, you know, like I said, if it was, I don't know how, we were wondering how Google's trending more on YouTube than Microsoft, but there's the long again, and we got out right there, but then we kind of made a mess. This is why we have a bunch of trades. We're still really positive on the name, still my #1 stock, but we kept going in and out here at 240, back and forth a bunch of times until we had eventually the short that cashed all the way in. Then we shorted on the way up, got stopped out there, and re-shorted now, breaking back through 241. So regardless of what we did, that doesn't really matter. It's a little bit confusing there. This is the move that Brendan's talking about yesterday on earnings. Huge move up to 253. Wow. There we were like, oh my God, Microsoft does it again. And then boom, gets hit to the downside on guidance. And yeah, the rest is history. But look what we always say, man. Zoom out. There's 231 bottom. And where does it go back to? The 19th. It just literally hits it right on the head. That's why we covered and went long. So there's the cover, there's the long, and there's the boom. And this is why we went short again, because there's 241. So we basically went bottom there to top right there. So we sort of did the last week in one day. Bottom, then right back upside. So yeah, Microsoft still remaining pretty strong, still up that or down that 0.5%. So relatively weak, relatively strong, still negative on the day as the NASDAQ, like who would have thought today that the NASDAQ would be lower than Microsoft, right? And so a little bit of a funny thing there. Let's see what happens now into the close. But for me, I'm still short. You know, I'll probably be short until 241.50. Let's see if we do take out the high again. But right there, we just smacked it down. And we have multiple outs right there. There's 2 outs down here at 240 again. So we just play the dollar game. And then we get out again. We're still holding 20% on the way back up. But we get out on that 50 period break. And now we got to wait to see what to do again. But for me, I'm going to give it one more shot. I think in here, 241.25, something like that, against the 241.50 Microsoft. Hey, man, maybe it did save everything today. Like, you know, back up to the upside. Nice resilience in the market. You know, makes out good for earnings. Like imagine if Microsoft didn't guide or whatever, like where it would be, right? And so we'll see. We'll see. There it goes. Now it's getting excited. 241.25 next short into that high.
So a couple of things quickly. Shopify just broke 47, so I was short in front of 47. I'll get to Microsoft just quickly because I liked 230 and I said the 50 period was at the 240 level on the daily. Wait to short it at 240. So that's me not waiting to short it at 240. That's me not waiting to short it at 240. This is me shorting it off the 240 level. And it just goes to show. You wait for it to actually get to the price area at which you are looking to play off of and then short. So that's a consequence of being impatient for me on Microsoft. I'm not happy about it. But shop just now in Shopify. I'll get to Alibaba in a second because I know we're talking about our rundown here, but Shopify is now up 11%. Yeah, I got faded out of a long. I did have a decent long, didn't hold it to the high, but that just broke out the top at 47. It'd been all kinds of a wall. I was short 4 times. The 4th time was a loser. And this one looks like 11% to the upside on Shopify with a repricing. And Alibaba 120 wicked me out while I was at the trade of the day. So I was in the short off 120. I said I would be all day long. This happened while we were filming it. That's the wick top. You got to use a stop order in a situation like that. I just jump right back into it. If I get wicked out, I'm right back in, giving it to the high of the day. But this market is flabbergasting right now.
Tweet here from Elon where he actually squashed this idea. But anyways, let's talk about Tesla going into earnings. This is the headline that came out this afternoon from the Wall Street Journal, suggesting that Musk is exploring raising $3 billion to pay off some of this $13 billion Twitter debt. Again, that was the Wall Street Journal. He actually on Twitter then said, nope, that's not true, and had no idea essentially where that came from. So anyways, the bigger story going to be for Tesla. Hey, it's earnings day, and this thing's green already, 0.8 to the upside for Tesla now.
This is also flabbergasting because quite frankly, like Tesla was, to me, at the open, it was like, this is the best short of all of them because it popped in. It essentially gave you, I did have an accidental long in there. I got out of it essentially right away. But it gave you test to 142 fall, test to 142.5, and then just crapped all over itself till it was like $5 in the money. Then it was, here's where it got tricky because I started scalping it short. It's like scalp short, higher scalp short, test into 140, scalp short, and then it breaks out at 140. We've been talking about this for a while. When you get these major, I'm talking major levels, where you know this is where you want to stop out. Like I'm short on the way back up till 140. It's been a great short that morning. At this point, you're in scalp mode. That reversal, it wasn't a clean reversal because you would have gotten 140 long and it pulls back into, let me zoom in here a little bit. It would have come back into like 139.30. But after it cleared this level out for good, bye-bye. I mean, that's a harsh reversal. Right to pre-market low, reestablishes it, and then it's absolutely gone. This is what you got to do sometimes at 10 o'clock, just reset. Because the open is wild. You get these crazy moves, and sometimes it's a complete opposite of what you're going to see for the rest of the day. And you want to reset it. What is happening now? What was happening now was a double bottom, higher lows, and a breakout on Tesla. So while it's a great stock short this morning, I can't complain about it.
Wow.
Look at these longs. Like, it's
Wow.
insane. All I have is Lucid long. I have one long position because Lucid was a breakout. When I noticed that it was relatively strong, I had shorted Lucid in the morning. It's like, okay, we lost on the short. Let's take the breakout trade. And this thing is trending toward $9 at this point. But it's the only thing I have to the long side. These reverses were just gold.
What is, like, hello? I mean, the market is, like, insane right now. Microsoft, we just keep on trading it here, short side. Like, I don't believe these moves. It's about to break through 242, and then we just got to say, okay. So there's another short rate. Yeah, look at this, man. We just shorted it right now. Our average price is 66 because we started the short rate here at 50, and then it just blew up there on one print, straight up to the upside now on these futures. Look, wow. I mean, holy, wow, Microsoft.
Damn.
That's so crazy that we had this bottom, and then now everything is blasting off to that upside. Is Tesla, yeah, it's going to go, well, it's green right now. Tesla's at that 146 level, so this is going to be an area right here that we've talked about over and over again to possibly short. That's 146.50. I mean, I don't know, man. Heading into earnings, like, what's up with that right now as this market is really getting super aggressive now to the upside. So, wow, Microsoft just blew that out now up to 242.50. Where do we go? Nobody knows, but Tesla's on deck. I mean, let's go. But this market, like, you know, before, like if this was a year ago or maybe even 6 months ago and Microsoft would have done something like that, we would have came and been down 4%, we'd be down 8% right now. This would just went back to positive. Sort of the, I don't know how to word it, but just like how consistent this has been to the upside right here. Ever since the morning, like it's just kept bumping and bumping and bumping. Like we had a little bit of a rough ride here early to the downside. Some of those orders got flushed out. Like if I look back to say some of those longs that we had, like we had the Microsoft long at 231. We had Google. I mean, where the heck is my, now as I short Meta again? Like look where we were long. We're gonna talk about Google at the end, but look where we were long, whoopsies. Look where we were long Google down here today. 93, like this 93.80, look at this bumping up now as well. So, wow, this market is off right now. Huge move to the upside. Yeah, I mean, AMD, I traded AMD. We'll talk about that on the chips. I'm still green on AMD. But Microsoft, wow, 243 right now. Talk about buying the dip this morning. That would have been, extra tasty on that because that is a huge move to the upside. Are we talking about Meta? Right now, the only position I have in is Meta. This one's not gold. Like, this is still red. So let's just find out. As you can see, I'm pretty addicted to the short here. All shorts on Meta basically the whole time. We just got, our last one was fine. We just got taken out there, but we got back in. So let's see if Meta wants to take 143. I don't know. This name's pretty high up right now. We're short 142.50.
Before we go back to Brennan, in the time you were just talking, I got out of Alibaba. The 120 short took the high of the day. I'm now long. I said I'd reverse this one when it eventually took this level. This is a big level on Alibaba, right? Like it's been, I don't want to say it's been free money short the last couple of days, this level, but it's been pretty darn good. At some point, all good things come to an end. It just came to an end here. Well, potentially, but I'm long it now. I was in Netflix just now. Netflix to the short side. I have some data missing here. I was short there 63, it got down to 62, then I'm stopped out. I'm not reversing that one just yet, but BOBA is a reversal. Strong day for the markets, and I guess we're going to talk about the chips now. Wow. Even NVIDIA. Let's go to Brennan here because we're going to talk chips. NVIDIA just broke the high of the day too.
Yeah, trying to get green even as we speak. This was really the only note this morning when it comes to the chip group, but they were showing a little bit of relative strength pre-market this morning. CEO speaking over in Stockholm, mentioning the AI angle, still needing regulation, still needing social norms to come into effect, but echoing the story that we've been kind of discussing over the past week or so, in that the exponential growth in processing power that will be needed for this is definitely going to benefit some of these. I also just noticed, yeah, I mean, we'll get to Google in a second, as you guys said, but still relatively weak overall versus the market.
Yeah, it's okay. So they are relatively, a few of these names. NVIDIA was the strongest one, and this is the only stock that, well, you know what? Actually, Shopify. I shouldn't say this is the only stock I was trying to only work longs off the open because I was pretty much only long Shopify as well. But it just, everything was flushing so badly this morning. So even trying to get like 90s on 190s on NVIDIA, reloading no good, low of the day 188. And remember what I said about just sort of maybe like at 10 o'clock, at 11 o'clock, just sort of recap and go back to your original thesis a little bit later on in the day. Because it's not at the bottom that I think I should have had NVIDIA long, I'm not going to have that trade. But it's, you know, if I liked 188 at the bottom, then why not have it in the afternoon when it consolidates there? And if I liked 190 for a break in the morning, why not have a late day 190 break? Like, look at the exact levels I was trying to play in the downtrend. It's exactly where you wanted to be long in the uptrend. This is where I wanted to go long in the downtrend. That's exactly where you want to be long in the uptrend. So it's what it comes down to time and time again. And, you know, also on, this one was working earlier on. This is, I mean, obviously this is Intel. That was working all morning long for the shorts. Once it broke out, I get out here on the break, and from there, that's where you reverse. I get out at 29.60, literally the exact point that you want to start going in the long. We were just saying, like, when you abort the short, the long can't be wrong. He said it, these guys have said it a million times. Today is the personification of that one, especially those chips. And NVIDIA, I was looking longs this morning and looking for places to be long NVIDIA. So I'll have to try to join this trend, but I need to pull back to do it because we're too sky high. The last time we had a situation like this where we got very close to green on the ES, and I was like, maybe we should turn the bear into a bull. I remember this clearly because I turned the bear into a bull and the market didn't get green.
Yeah.
So it was a very similar type of day. We had a harsh reversal. You got into some overnight resistance. It was trying to push through to go green on the day, and it never happened. So either I want to dip to buy on NVIDIA, or let's see us go green and explode from there. This consolidation, I'm not chasing it up here. I'd rather play a dip, 191, 190, something like that for NVIDIA.
I guess this market's not dipping at all. I mean, here I am. We're one last shot here on Meta. If it takes out the high, which is 70 right there, we're going to get out. We just ripped up to that level. And now we're just going to hold. And here it goes, man. It's going to take it out right now. So that sucks. Yeah, there it is, 67s. I don't know, man. This market going on deck tomorrow. Tesla, we talked about some of those names that are, here it comes, that are coming through. There's no stopping some of these names right now. Let's get our last out right now on Meta. I don't even have any bid. I mean, I had some bids down here. It's fine. Like, we're short at 50, we're out at 70, but still, man, it's getting exhausting. Like, these shorts, the market is actually pulling back, and it looks, I mean, pulling back, not really, but, you know, trying to pull back. And again, you know, the name that I have just is marching like a beat of its own drum. Like, market has 4 red candles in a row now, and of course the name that I'm short has 4 green candles in a row. So we'll see if this stops us out, man. No more like shorting. We've already gotten beat up enough here trying to short Meta. I mean, it's just started right here at 142, so we've really just sort of messed up within here, 50 cents here, 50 cents there, but still adds up. Meta right now, let's see where we go. Now the market hopefully can fade out a little bit and this can come back in. There we go. Just as fast as we were out in the money, out of the money, now we're right back to flat. I'm actually going to take a piece, man, if I can get that at 49 where we just stopped, like whatever. We are almost busted on this trade, so hopefully we can get a little piece out there, and if we have to use this to average back in, we'll do that. But here we go. We just took a piece out. Feel kind of lucky that we didn't get stopped there because that was pretty close. So let's go Meta now.
Nordstrom's here. JWN, big volume spike downside, but not really doing anything. Fitch, rating service, cutting their debt to junk for this one, JWN. So you can see some selling came in on that, but exactly flat right now for Nordstrom's. Let's talk about this one because, yeah, remember when Boeing was red this morning? Now it's up. I just saw 1.2%, huge move down off the earnings. They come on the call and say a few things in the right direction, get us back to almost break even. Then it's been nothing but higher, guys, even with a miss for Boeing this morning.
Well, I definitely remember that. Just a couple of things. One, I'm back at a firm because it was 13 this morning. Now it's 14 because go figure when you're shorting off the 13 level and thinking a firm's going to go to 12, and then in the afternoon, you're off those highs. But I did open the day saying this was actually where I preferred shorting it off of yesterday's close. But Boeing, this is how many, I mean, every chart's going to look like this. Every chart's going to look like this, right? So I actually was short in Boeing and then just didn't have enough belief in the level that I had it at 210. Really, the level was up here at 212. I was wrong about the price entry, I think, so that's why I didn't get the benefit of the move down in. It didn't quite get to 200 or even close enough to it that I would have engaged along, catching a falling sword, and now it's breaking out. It hasn't gotten through 215, however, and even if it does, like this is 215 on the 15-minute, I think that's a pretty good level, this 215. It did break once in the last month and got to like 216.5, so I think there's 2 levels up here where you'll find overhead resistance, but Boeing, it's already green on the day. If I did try to scalp short, I think it would be off of those levels. If anything, it's almost such a strong trend here. Like this breaking 215 to go like 16.5 isn't a bad idea. I'd almost prefer to be playing a dip back into this consolidation at 212. So if there's a significant drop, like $2 or so, I think Boeing can be had for a bit of a long. I don't like it enough that I'd short it to that level, but you know, certainly that could be a bit of a play. I just think a firm feels like if I have to stand in front of a freight train at the high of the day, let's have it be in a company that, quite frankly, not that many people like. Breno?
Reverse stock split just approved here, guys, from Mullen. So big move up for MULN on heavy volume.
That's it.
Anytime you get a reverse stock split, I mean, maybe we go long now. I mean, thanks, right? That reverse stock split announced for Mullen. Right back up to the website. Turn at a level is operating.
Mike.
Back up to the upside right now. So let's see what happens right now. Back to 32 for my mic is fine.
I was hearing you in my ear.
Yeah, all right. I don't know. But anyways, there's Mullen. Watch out for this name as it's continuing to go back to the upside.
Yeah, so I don't know how much you guys caught of that. Maybe there's some audio issues, but as Sean said, like fundamentally speaking, you know that that's not necessarily a good thing when you get the stock split, except for the fact that it can get them to avoid being delisted in the market. So that's going to be a big thing. I would watch out for like 32, 33. Could run into some trouble. That's just on the 15-minute chart there. Certainly worth a watch. But are you kidding me? Before we go back to you, Brennan, to talk about Alphabet, which we already talked about, Shopify. So at this point, you're through 47, and the reason why I was going long for most of the morning, and I know I shorted it a little bit later on in the day, was I can't drag this for some reason, but look at the double top here. It's actually a triple top if you pull back further on the daily. You can see it there, 45. Like multiple times to try to take this out. Ignore that wick. That was the shenanigans that happened at the open on the NYSE yesterday, and then you get this sort of not that clean breakout at 45. I kind of bungled it in the morning and then had it a little bit later on. I didn't hold through 46. I decided to short 47, and now look at it go. Look at that trend, man. It's just sometimes you get this little bit of a bias in you, and it catches the best of you, and you're not willing to hold the longs as far as they need to go, and you're looking for shorts at tops. So that's me on Shopify. It's now gonzo. I don't think I'd even consider a short unless it's back beneath 47 or maybe testing like $2 higher.
Go.
If anything, I want to be buying a dip here. This market, let's see. If it pulls back in, this is the strongest name out there. So that's definitely worth something for a dip buy at 47.
Like this is literally the only way. Oh. This is like literally the only way I can trade this market right now. If I sit here, I just keep scalping out of this meta, and then when it drops down, I'm not going to have enough shares on board. So we just, I'm just kind of just joking here. I'm not going to sit there like that. I'm going to continue to scalp it out. You got to stay true to who you are. No, we just got, I mean, it just came back in, but then like I'm upset that we got these out at 44, 45 there. But there we go. We got a 34, and then we got a 20, a 30. So it's not like it's absolutely tanking in here. But if this market does take the 50 period right here on the NASDAQ, then, I mean, you guys know I prefer to short names underneath there. The reason why we got so smoked up here was Meta was relatively weak, and I just didn't believe the market really wanted to go there. It kept bouncing off this 50 period. Realistically, the minute we took that high, so I should have stopped probably about 15 minutes ago or so, like when that move happened. But let's see if we can now pay ourselves off as this comes back down. I'm still looking at this 142.20 area. Hopefully that comes back in a little bit. But other than that, like that's the level of concern for me right there. 142.20. We need to break lower. I have no more bids. A name, we're probably done with the rundown. We'll talk about Google after when we get to Brennan, so one more name on the rundown. But here's Nike. We were short this name all the way up until 127 and then all the way back down again. So Nike's going to be a pretty positive name for us here as we're still holding on to that short against 127. So that's a name that we didn't really talk about. Like my orders are now set. If Meta takes out, just so you guys know, like my order is a break. Anyways, break into the 70s is where we're going to take this out. So if you zoom back out on Meta, it's just into here. Like we should have waited for this move, but again, hindsight's 20/20, right? You're trying to put on the best trades you can at the best levels that you see at that moment. So I was seeing this level at 50. that got blown out, so we had to up it a little bit more. And then like after that, am I going to say 143? Nah, you know, so let's be careful. We did lose early on Meta. It was a big nightmare for me. And right now it just kind of continues to be that. So hopefully Meta can come back down as we talk a little bit off the rundown there. But we're going to go over to Google, Brendan, and then we'll start to get ready for Power Hour.
Weakness still to have a look at when it comes to Google. This was the note this morning on Google that came out actually late yesterday. It was just that they responded essentially without merit, and they'll defend it vigorously, yada, 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 for that DOJ lawsuit on their ad business. Again, the second next week, Feb 2nd, is when Google is set to report, guys. Coming up in about 15 minutes. That is my fault. There we go. Special guest coming through, Sunny Trin from DevStream. This is a carbon credit company just listed on the NEO Exchange here in Toronto. Going to be joining us about 2:45 to introduce you to DevStream in this industry that's massive, guys. I had no idea. It's approaching $1 trillion industry as of this year. 2021 was about 900 billion. So going to be an interesting conversation coming up in about 15 minutes with Sunny Trin.
That's hilarious because Neil and I both we knew we had an interview and one that we were interested in. Well, we're interested in all of them,
Obviously.
Yeah, we just both opened up our calendar,
like,
and then the next thing we knew, Brendan had that for you one
Brendan's
more
on point
time.
like that.
Yeah, Brendan's
I wanted to
pretty good.
answer a question though, because there's well, two questions. Because someone was like, "Oh, what's the deal with the trend? Like, how does a bias affect you?" And so what I was trying to say in the chat when I was answering the question that I saw is simply, I had too much of an opening. There were so many good shorts. I had a market short bias, and that just affected the way I traded the longs that I had. Like, I'm only in one of them, and it's loose. It's like the last long I had, not the ones I liked in the morning, which was Nvidia and Shop. Those aren't the things I'm long now. So too much of a market bias to the short side had me going into longs and then not following through with them. Like, that's what a bias can do to you, in that it'll get you out of the things that could be your best, and that's the reversal. And then the other question was, does the fact that a firm is SSR, which is short sell restricted, does that affect how you would trade it off this level? Not really. Like, that's how, on the way down, the stock being SSR would affect whether how I get short on the way down, because you can't initiate a short position without an uptick. That means you can't hit the bid. So it's going to be harder for it to completely free fall. But I'm now playing off of yesterday's highs. I'm looking for a curl here, 14, and it not going green. Like, if green is at 14.32, I like the number 32, but that's kind of a bit of a fluke. I'm looking for a rollover here, not necessarily saying it's getting to low of the day, but it's into the resistance I was looking to trade this morning. So that's more of a pricing than anything else. I have reversed into BABA. It may be a couple of things that I like to the short side still, but fighting these trends, I don't know. You're now at this, so Mullen's now broken 32. Looks like it's trying to make a secondary push here. There's really a lot of room on Mullen. I mean, if it breaks out from here, you can get another 10%. Without really challenging too many levels. You're going to see very obviously where I think it's going to run into trouble. I think if it sniffs up here at 40, that could be trouble. I know I was long at a couple of days in a row above those levels. And look, the second day above 40, this was a rejection, the lower high. So if I see 40 cents, I already paid for low case. If it goes up there, I'm looking for the shorts on Mullen. I haven't traded it since it was up there last time, so I know I like that level.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about Mullen, but you just did, so that's good right there. Okay. No, that's all good, baby. That's what we're talking about, man. I mean, these stocks, when they start to move, and we're going to be here to cover them for you. Maybe Brendan can come back with any more details on that reverse split, because a lot of people asking about it. I don't know if there's a date. I mean, normally you just file for it, and then the board approves it, so on and so forth. So there is a process there, so kind of hold on, and if there's any more information, that we see that, we'll come up with that. But you guys are right. Some of you said, hey, Sean, what about Meta? Yeah, so there it is. We finally put some money on the board right now with Meta on the short. Yeah, not proud of, honestly, guys, I'm not, it could really fade out here, and that's great. We have a lot of shorts here, but ultimately, I should have been a lot more patient with this trade. It's just we got short there, stopped out, right? I mean, that sucks, but that was okay. That was a quick one. And then, that's 15 cents. But then we started shorting again and then got stopped out right there at 142.20. Then we started shorting again, took a little bit of profit, got stopped out. Then it's these shorts now that are finally starting to pay. So we'll put another bid out. Trust me, because it was a little bit of a revenge trade, I do have some shares on board. So this is definitely making a good dent now back into the profit spot for us. So we'll put one more bid here at flats, get them out, and then hopefully, yo, what's up, Katrine? Then hopefully it goes back down to the downside, and then we'll go from there. And also a big shout out to Bears vs. Bulls, man. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing for us every single day on the moderation. Shout out to my wife, who I just phoned as well, shoveling right now because of the snow outside. Starting to pile up a little bit. We're supposed to get 20 centimeters, although it's not super, like what I was telling her is it's not super cold.
Much.
It's 0 degrees Celsius right now, so it's like 35 Fahrenheit now.
Not that bad.
It's 0 is 32, but it's like, you know, hovering around. So it's not that bad. Hopefully once snow hits pavement there, it melts, but you got to get on that or else it does accumulate. Good outs on Meta there as it just bumped up higher. So, man, I don't know. We've made back a little bit of money there, so that's all good. But we can make back a lot of money on this Meta short if it continues to make a move down. The 50 period just got violated right there. So it's all good for now.
Oh, look at exactly where Tesla just got to. Yesterday morning top 146.5. It just made that curl there. I just added to a firm because I like that trade. I should have had Intel, man. That's the other one. Intel got very close to 30. I didn't quite get it. So now you're in retracement mode in Tesla. I think if it catches any kind of a bid, it's probably going to be around that 44, 45 area to be sure. But it's Lucid that I'm in. So as that comes back, I got to respect if Tesla rejected yesterday's high, maybe Lucid is rejecting yesterday's high. I don't want this going beneath 875 here. So I started the position at 60s. I added to it at 57, so it's going to show my price as 57. My average price was actually like 60 even, I think, something like that. But I'm going to go 874 for a trailing stop. I just don't want this totally reversing on me. Tesla makes a high, Lucid makes the exact same high and pulls back. I'll respect that. Alibaba, I have 17s long. Sorry, 13s long. But we shorted it, we stopped out, and now finally clearing out this 120 level, at least attempting to clear out this 120 level. If it gets through 20s here, that almost feels like if you make another high, that's a place to add to the position because we're headed to 121. So even if I get stopped out and then it retraces, I want to be long either again or more through another break of this high of the day. It just feels like it's consolidating with a chance to break a multi-day high and then head to the high of the week. Berendo.
Just reading through this article, guys, wanted to confirm, I don't actually see a date when it comes to the reverse split for Mullen in this article. I did tweet this link out, so if anybody wants to find that, just go check that out on Twitter. I'll keep digging. This might just be a preliminary thing, so there might be more to come as far as more details, but the initial one doesn't have a date in it.
All right, good. Thank you, Brendan, for the talk there on Mullen. But as you can see right now on the reverse split news coming through, Mullen wants to go again, 139 million shares. Look at the volume starting to go right now. And there it is, man, taking out the day's high right now on Mullen, all the way up to 33. That could be a spot there. Let's see if they want to fade this. Probably going to take it out. The more these traders hear about the news. You remember about a reverse split? You know, you got to file for those in order to stay on the NASDAQ because you can't be below $1 for too long. So if we look at a 20-minute chart here on Mullen, you do have this little gap where we overnight there from the 13th to 17th over the weekend. You know, this area is a pretty good one right here, 34, 35. Like you might say, oh, that's not that high. But honestly, when this news came, we started here at 28. And now to get to 35, you know, you're looking at 8 cents on 28 right there, right? So you're up 25% if we can get to 35. Let's see if that happens. But that's an area for me that you might look to get short there on Mullen as it's really blasting here. Again, you could trade it with tons of shares. Just be careful. You want to make sure that you have an out. Like if it blasts through 33 and you go long, you know, if you're going to take the top out, maybe you want to get out if it kind of breaks somewhere near the bottom here. Maybe even 30 cents even where we have VWAP and the 50 period. But for now, Mullen exploding. And there it is. Taking out the day high there at 33 goes Mullen. See ya. Nice little upside move. Watch out for that 35. There it is. It's really going here. Mullen on a break for the day. Thanks for bringing it to our attention, guys. And thanks, Brendan, for that news.
Absolutely. Oh, goodness. I'm gonna shout out Lamont here. Lamont Hutchison.
What's up, Lamont?
12 months a member of the show. I'm coming to the studio in Canada in March. I love the show. So I genuinely, I'd love to meet you. I genuinely hope you're not coming during March break because I'm going to be in Florida for spring training. But yeah, we've
when
had
is
people,
March break?
You know what? I have to double check the exact week. I have to look at a calendar. I'm that guy. Like I don't really know the actual.
That's why I'm asking you. I have no.
I'm not sure what the actual dates are. It's in somewhere in the middle of the month, obviously. But what was I going to say? Oh no, we've had guests come in and like ring the bell,
Right.
gotten tours. Like we're right here in the sort of downtown Toronto. For those of you that don't know, we're Canadian. Don't hate us. We say a boot. I don't say a boot. I say about.
Nobody actually says a boot.
No one actually says a boot. We say about. But yeah, we do welcome people coming in here, and it's a good times for us to be able to meet some of our viewers. So thank you, Lamont, for that. People are asking what thoughts are on Tesla earnings. The way I see it, the price, when they're dropping prices, we're not going to see the effect of that, I think, for another couple of quarters, at least one quarter, maybe a couple of quarters there. So I don't know you're going to get a really good gauge in terms of the long term where you want to go with this. What I will say is, and you can get your tinfoil hat out if you want. Remember, Microsoft shot up on the earnings, but it was trending to the downside going into it. Remember, Netflix was trending to the downside that afternoon and then shot up after its earnings and went crazy. Well, Tesla, it's really strong to the upside. And the last few big names have basically gone the other direction initially off of earnings. So my first thought is, okay, if they have a miss, we might see a bit of a dip, and it's having some trouble punching through these tops. But it's been a strong move. People just buying. Well, they were dumping Netflix, and that ran. They were dumping Microsoft, and Microsoft ran until the conference call. Like, if it wasn't for the conference call, that stock was going gangbusters to the upside, despite the fact that it was sold off. So if somebody knows something, the last two big earnings on big NASDAQ and S&P names have gone the opposite of the trend in the afternoon, for what it's worth.
I mean, Mullen is just taking out right now 35. Like we just talked about a key level there. Like when we were just talking about that was 33 break, right? Like you might think that, I mean, we just talked about it there. Make sure that if you're trading, like, so there it is. Are we getting that rejection now? We just talked about 35 as possibly being the high there for Mullen. So let's wait to see. You know what? I kind of have a sad, oh yeah, my wife just sent me a picture. Yeah, no, it's snowing a lot worse than not that bad. I got in trouble there. So she said she was watching and she said that I said that the shoveling wasn't that bad, but apparently it is. So
it's heavier. It's heavier when it's wet snow.
That's the other thing. No, it's not. As you might have, well, you mentioned it, and I don't know if we did. Well, you guys might have saw Mark O'Keefe on earlier. So ICE Data is putting on a sort of an event downtown today that we're invited to. So I feel kind of like, the wife's there shoveling. Maybe I should be doing that, obviously. But either way, I'm on the show, so I wouldn't be able to do it until we got home. But she's amazing. So thank you so much for doing that. And, once the kids are home, we don't have to go out. Oh, dance is canceled, but karate is not. Today. So we're waiting for karate to get canceled. Did that just happen again to me? So what I meant to say here about Meta, the first time it came down here, I was waiting at 142.02. No, like, honest truth. Then I just put the bid to 142.06. It just went to 06 again and stopped. Like, I'm purposely not telling the world where my orders are, and then it's still bouncing off of them. So now I'm going to put one somewhere in the teens, maybe 14, and hopefully that will come down and fill us there. And maybe we'll get that fill on Meta. But yeah, nice little move to the downside right now here for this name. But wow, we missed it a couple times. Like I'm thinking the reason why I didn't want to get too aggressive was I still think we can get back into VWAP and this 200 period on Meta. So that's what I'm talking about, because this was the past high right there that we, again, look at these shorts. Like they printed out for us. It's just we get a little happy here going short at these highs, which we shouldn't be doing. So anyways, hopefully we can get back down to 141.80. That's sort of my target there. So I didn't want to get out too much, but we got to pay the piper if it comes back upside. So let's watch out for that and try to get into some newer trades here rather than just Meta and Nike, because Nike's kind of pulled back up right here again. We only have 10% left, so I'm kind of leaving this one, but let's wait to see what happens with Nike now.
Well, someone just said, what's Shmula to me? No, it's someone in the chat, just Shmula in the chat if anyone's paying attention. And by the way, you actually have to be, no, it's the name of somebody in the chat. You have to be a subscriber to be in the chat. And it just said it's 7K likes, Neil should do a shoey. I'm never doing a
shoey.
I'm never doing a shoey. It's a shoey of maple syrup. I'm never doing
of maple syrup.
A, that's just disgusting. I love maple syrup.
I mean, for 10,000 likes.
B, I'm never doing a shoey. And I'll say this right now, I'm not going to add anybody, but there's some traditions on the trading floor.
I'll do it.
I have no idea where the shoey tradition, when a trader
It's like a British.
when a trader graduates, though. It never happened when we were.
No, but they make their own traditions, man.
Now they have their own thing where someone actually does a shoey when a trader graduates. So the last time we had a graduation party for a trader on the floor, a shoey was done. I never did it back in the day when I graduated, and I'm not doing a shoey now, especially not maple syrup. You can't drink that much maple syrup. You'll throw up. Like, you can't chug maple syrup, man. You crazy? Hell no.
You could, but yeah,
No,
you don't want to do that. You don't.
No, you're not gonna. You're gonna throw up if you.
I mean, the reason why I do a shoey is because it's very popular. A lot of people do that. You just simply putting a beer in the sort of the bottom of your shoe, and then back it goes.
This is maple syrup, man.
I don't know. People do that for fun, so whatever. A little different than those chips that we did there.
Well,
faux show. No, what do you mean? I want to try with shoey. I mean, I just do it for fun. It doesn't matter for that. But okay, there it is again. Meta. I said we were waiting at 14. You know, man of my word, there it is right there. We do get that 14 fill. As it explodes to the upside, at least we get part of it. But again, like I'm just trying to take out like little pieces here. So it's not like I'm more upset that it went up rather than that I got the fill. But at least this time we got the fill. As what I was going to say is, the reason why we didn't get the fill, and this is why I'm a little bit nervous about Meta, just real quick, as our interview's all lined up, and we're going to go there in just a second, was that if I got missed at 02, then I got missed at 06, and I barely got taken at 14, then, you know, this is starting to make new, like, higher lows here as we go to the upside. So we got to watch out for this short here in Meta as it may take out this 142.70. So just a quick update there. That is still my out. If I get triggered out of it as our interview's on, that's my target price. But hey, without any further ado, it's been a fantastic show, and it's even about to get better. So let's go over to the big screen with Brendan.
Brand new listing on the NEO Exchange, as promised here in Toronto. DESG is the ticker, guys. If you're looking for DevStream, is a carbon credit management and investment company focused on tech-based projects. Sunny Trend, CEO of the company, and joining us today to introduce us not only to the company itself, DevStream, but also to this industry that is, as I mentioned, way bigger than I expected. As mentioned, Sunny Trent, CEO of the company, joining us. Great to see you, Sunny.
Great to see you, Brandon. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, let's jump right into this. I'm going to give you some numbers here. Going back to 2021, this market, compliance market, reaching 760 billion euros, which equates to about 840 and change billion US. This is a huge opportunity and a huge marketplace. We're hearing more and more about not only countries having to go to zero emissions, but obviously companies operating within countries having to go to zero emissions. They do that by purchasing these carbon credits. Tell us what we need to know here about this industry as a whole, and where do we see this market cap going over the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, no, what viewers need to know that, first of all, this is a fairly new market, and in 2022, it's already approaching $1 trillion, right? And expected to keep growing, both in the demand and in the price of carbon credits. And like you said, corporations and countries everywhere are making net zero goals, with the first milestone really being in 2030. So as we get closer to this milestone, these organizations will realize that they will need to purchase carbon credits in order to meet these goals. So you'll see an even bigger ramp in demand. So if I were to guess where the market cap will be in, say, 5 years, gosh, I think it could more than double, if not triple, what it is in 2022.
So everybody has a better understanding here of what exactly we're talking about. Maybe we take a step back first and just tell us exactly what this is. Like, what is a carbon credit, and why is it so important that these companies need to purchase them?
Yeah. So when a company or project developer does something that reduces, avoids, or sequesters greenhouse gas emissions, they're doing something good that helps the planet. So as a result, they have the opportunity to be financially rewarded through this vehicle called carbon credits. So for every metric ton of emissions that's reduced, a carbon credit can be generated. And then on the flip side, organizations trying to meet their net zero goals will need to buy carbon credits in order to offset a portion of their emissions. This money goes back to those companies that generate the credits to continue their emission reducing activities.
So $1 trillion industry that we're talking about here. More and more we're seeing carbon footprint as a whole coming into the headlines. There's a long list of countries that are adopting this idea of going to zero emissions over the next, as you said, 10 to 20 years. Some of those, Canada, Chile, Denmark, Finland, France, the UK, to name a few. What does this mean for individual companies, obviously within those countries, who are going to have to adopt with them? And really, Sonny, how big of an opportunity do you feel this is?
Yeah, so there are two main drivers for carbon credits. The first is in the compliance space. So certain government jurisdictions will tax companies that have emissions above a certain threshold. To avoid these taxes, companies have the option to purchase compliance eligible credits. And then there's the voluntary market, where companies and organizations make emissions reductions and net zero goals due to increasing pressure from, say, shareholders, institutional investors, and their customers. So they do it voluntarily. And until 100% of our energy is renewable and all vehicles and machinery are electrified, there's no way a company can meet these goals without purchasing carbon credits. And that's because they can only take their emissions down so much.
So when it comes to the actual process of this, let's break this down a little bit further. Currently, about 20% of overall carbon credits are coming from nature-based efforts, so wind, solar, things of that nature. The other 80% then going to have to be made up by the tech industry, which DevStream deals solely with. Yep. Tell us how that is achieved in the tech industry.
Yeah, no, you bring up a very important point. Global warming is a massive issue, right? That requires a combined effort from every aspect of the world. So up to this point, most carbon credits have come from nature-based solutions. These are very important, but nowhere near enough for us to meet our goals. And that's where technology comes in. Technology-based solutions will have to supplement the nature-based ones. There are a lot of other carbon streaming companies out there that are, and some really good ones that focus on this, but none are really fully aware or have a focus on technology aside from DevStream. And the main reason is because it's in our DNA. But the reason why this is so important is that, number one, technology projects are easily scalable, where let's say you have a project that you prove in one location, you can do it over and over again. We have one example where we have a wastewater management solution that reduces energy consumption by 85%. Well, every city in the world requires wastewater management. So you can take the solution and do it over and over again and help really scale and bring down the emissions reductions.
When people think about this market, maybe talk them through a little bit how exactly this works. So it's a marketplace of sense where there's available credits and then the ability to exchange those not only between companies on a one-to-one basis, but also between countries as well.
Yep. Yeah, no, there's markets where corporations and developers of credits can trade and buy and sell credits between each other. And then there's also exchanges like an exchange called Expansive, where companies can come in and buy credits on an exchange. So you have the option of both. And there's also what's called forward delivery, where you can buy futures of the credits as well. And a lot of that's going on. And a recent signing with the Paris Agreement, countries now are able to trade credits between each other. And there's been announcements where, like, for example, Japan announced that they're going to meet majority of their net zero goals through buying carbon credits from other countries.
A lot of investors, even watching this show right now, going to be interested in a market and a market cap of this size. Is there a place where we can go to take advantage of some of these dealings? Is there an exchange that is open to the public? And if not, in your opinion, what's the best way the best way to take advantage of this opportunity going forward?
Yeah, so for the most part, it's really tough for individuals to invest directly in carbon credits. So there's really two main options. The first is through a carbon ETF, and there's a few of them out there. And this will allow you to make money as carbon credit pricing goes up. And then the second option is to invest in companies that either invest into carbon streams or generate carbon credit streams like DevStream. So with the number of projects that we have in our pipeline, we have over 125 projects in our pipeline, along with our partnerships and opportunities with, say, governments for, at the municipal, provincial, and federal level, we do have the ability to generate a significant amount of carbon credits. So, companies like us, even though we're fairly new and there's some risk with new companies, because of where the space is and how large it is and the amount of credits we can generate, we feel that, we have a tremendous amount of upside. So you have the ETFs, and then you have companies like DevStream.
Early days, obviously, for an industry that's just going to continue to flourish as we move into not only 2023, but beyond as well, as more and more countries start to adopt these same sort of policies. Sonny Trinh is CEO of DevStream. Brand new listing on the Neo Exchange, guys, here in Toronto. DESG is the ticker. Sonny, a pleasure. Come back and
likewise. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much there, Sonny. And the crazy thing about it is, like, during that time, the market's going right back to the upside. We haven't changed it compared to a bull, but maybe that Sonny interview can get us to make that change. I don't want to do it. The reason I don't want to switch it is because I jinxed it last time.
Right.
So I've been kind of like saying I'm not going to do it. We have to go. Actually, I have to go green. I need to see green on the NASDAQ before I make that change. I just wanted to point out a couple things. One, Boeing wick top through that high. It did get to 215 almost exactly, and it's starting to pull back in here. I'm still in a firm. It's still basically in the same channel it was before. So I have orders to get out once we see 14 and below, but unless you break out of the range, there's not a heck of a lot to do. It's the same thing with Alibaba. You know, like the market's going up, and Bob was trying to get back to the high. I said I would, and this is the thing, like, look at the range in here. I'm looking for it to break out of that range. And if it gets through the high of the day, I'm going to add to the position and to play into that 121. I think we can get there, but it needs to break out. Like, I need to see something happen so we can get excited about it. NVIDIA, I did want NVIDIA for a dip buy. The problem with the dip buy, on a 15-minute, where's the red candle on my 15-minute? There isn't one. You know, like, you had a consolidation, but on my 15-minute chart, there's literally not a single, not all afternoon. Just no dip buys to be had in NVIDIA. At some point, if I want this trend and we go green, you know, I have to stop looking for the dip. I'm going to go back to 192.25, but this might be, you know, the last time I chase this with a higher dip buy than before. If we do see 30s, if I see 30s, I should say, on Intel, this is a name I'd short up there. We did like the 29.5. So if I see the 30s, I missed it the first time up there when I was getting a firm short. But if I see 30, I'm going to go short on Intel to be sure. Mullen, if you're still tracking this one, this is not an offer to go short. If it breaks out this top here at 35, I'm going to go for the long break on Mullen. I just favor it thinking it can get at least into, you know, this 38 to 40 area. 40 is probably a short for me because that's 41 up at the top here. So 40 is probably an area I'd look to go short if it got there. But double top break, you can still get 5 to 10% before I think it hits the next resistance. With that double top, I'm going to take it, get a little bit of a scalp out in the first move, and then see how far it can go. But it has to be the breakout trade.
I was just reading this Mullen thing here again as it's starting to go back up to the upside.
It's trying.
It's actually just went out. Mark, the wrong video went out again there. Oh, man, that sucks. I'll have to untweet that one. Okay, so just quickly here, was looking at this Apple, thinking about it breaking. I have to get rid of that video because it's not the right one that just went out there for Mullen. So I'm just going to get rid of that quickly here and delete that tweet. The wrong video went out. But okay, right there, 142. That's what we're looking at right there for Mullen. Or sorry, for Mullen, 142. Interesting. No, we're looking at this one right here, 141, 142 as the top right there for a break of Apple. So, you know what, man? Hey, late to the party, Apple. I mean, not really, but just late to the party on the fact that it's still red when there's been a lot of names today that have been going. But Apple's been pretty strong here. It just bounced off. The reason why I like this is because it does give an out here. I think we can, you know, get out if it breaks back down below, you know, 141.70 or so. I hate taking out the tops like this. Sharif was mentioning, you know, you never like when you're buying sort of the breakout top of the day, but it's power hour right now. We're getting ready to rock and roll. So hopefully that will go now to the upside is Apple. This is what we sort of wanted to do right now. So I'm going to hit record and see if we can get this Mullen talk going right now. Mullen on news of reverse split all the way up here to 35. Now remember, just 20 minutes ago or less, we busted out this chart right here on Mullen. And I said, watch out for that 35 level right there. If you were long Mullen, this could be an area right back to the 13th, over the weekend to the 17th. We jumped down, we touched 35, then made those lows down there at 25, 26. So let's watch out for Mullen. It just bounced off 35 again. I still like to break long if that goes. But for right now, Mullen's kind of bouncing around. And look where it turned, man. 35 on the dime, pretty much. Broke it, went up like, I guess, 0.1 there, 0.001 to the upside, and then fell back and gave you that 32. So, you know, the thing is, when you fail at 35 and go back down to 32, that's 10% right there, right? So you got to watch out. It does kick. And remember I said 25%? So it was up to there. Now it came right back. I think you still got to respect this 31, 32 area. Nice news about reverse split, but reverse splits are always done to stay under. You got to make sure that you're not under the dollar on the NASDAQ. You got to get back above. So if this goes 10-1, that'll open up at $44 or wherever it is, and we'll get that day to you. But it's mulling right now, doing tons of volume. When we first brought you the story, it was down here at 28.29. There it is up to 35. Trader TV Live with the Mullen story.
I think I found something I like here. And you know what it is? Go back to the basics. It's like, what was I trading this morning? What was trading today? It was Alphabet. And I haven't gotten back to it. I don't know why I'm missing pre-market data on this chart, but I'm going to short it off this high. It's right at that 95. We talked about 96, 95, 94. You're right back off that 95. You got a lower high.
So
as the market's
is
going right back to the top, you're getting a lower high in a stock. I like that setup. It gives me the opportunity for like a scalp short in there because I can play down into VWAP here. If it breaks the top, it's probably headed to 96. That's pretty clear. We started with Tesla. Well, I don't know if we started with Tesla, but we definitely were talking about Tesla. And I said, okay, watch for the dip back into this 145 area. It just goes 144.76, reestablishes 145. I probably should have been maybe a little bit quicker to this. I just got Google there. But I'm going to get on the bid now in front of that 145. I think that's a decent consolidation for a jump off. Of course, as I say that, it's already jumping off. The good thing about this, if I'm not in it, is I'm already in Lucid. However, Lucid is going to have a triple top up here. If it rejects the high of the day, I'll probably just get out. I'm not going to wait for it to reclaim like 875 or whatever. If it gets up to the top and doesn't break the high, get to 9, I'll just get out somewhere around like 885 or so. But I want to give this a chance. Now that Tesla's screaming, I want to give this a chance to get to $9. As a matter of fact, I might get an offer out in front of $9 because it feels like we're going to get there. This market is back to screaming higher. Where's my ad in Alibaba? Has it broken yet? No, BABA is right back at the high. If it breaks this top, I actually want to add on a break of this consolidation because it hangs out. It's been sitting around 120, but when it goes the other direction off 120, like when it falls, it flushes, I feel like it should break and go a lot higher. After this many times trying to take the level, I don't see why we don't get that 121 off this break. I'm only adding if it breaks a fresh high of the day here on Alibaba.
All right, yeah, market's going right now. We punch long, so we're now long Apple. We got 05s again on a break. Like, I don't know. I guess when it breaks, it just goes. So we got 05s on a break. We're gonna get out if it takes down 75 right here. Unfortunately, if it does give it back up, I mean, then that's what's happening. Like, we punch long, we take out the high of the day as the market's trying to go green right now. But if it pulls back, then it pulls back, and we're gonna be out of that, right? So that's gonna be a hit for sure, obviously, if it does come back. So let's wait to see if that does happen right now. But it's a new position alert. It's gonna be Apple. We wanted it on that break of 142. It's kind of just cruising to the upside. It's really respected this 50 period. That 50 period's all the way down to 65. Maybe I give it room down to there. It's just I didn't want to like increase some of the losses. We still do have Meta short, but this is a brand new position. It's now down 10 cents for us. It's not really worth crying over yet. Let's see if it gets back to the upside. My first take was 142.25. Hopefully we can get back up there. If you're going to look at Apple on a 20-minute chart, I mean, there's still room to go. I mean, it's not, you know, I would have liked it better if it kind of looked like this and then we were breaking highs now and then getting up here. But we still, you know, in the sort of the cup here of this, we still got to break above here to complete, I mean, I guess whatever pattern this looks like, but you know, loop down here, loop down again. So you do want to try to buy the dips, but we just got aggressive there and took out that top. So let's see if this is going to work or not here with Apple, understanding that, you know, 143 is a great top. I mean, if it goes to 143, we won't be in it. I mean, we'll have scaled it out. But here we go, Apple with a new long position here, just engaging it. We're going to give it 25 cents. That means our first take is going to have to be 25 cents. So let's see what Apple does here to the upside. First offer. Actually, my first offer is at 19. So there you go. I just told you there. Just don't always want to sit right at the even quarters, but we'll take that. Hopefully it goes back up to the upside right now, and we'll be able to cash a little bit out of Apple. So cash me outside with the Apple trade.
Oh, I like that one. Cash me outside. So Netflix is at 368. That's a kind of a little bit of a move. I'm going to go ahead and the other stock that I was bidding, let's just forget about that because we're not going to get long at 363.50. That's obviously not going to happen. I had that bid when I was up doing the trade of the day, and then that kind of it stopped me out. I'm like, oh, I should join this party to the long side, and I kind of threw a bid in here. And then obviously you can see what happened. If it gets to 370, I'd probably look at how this is a 3-minute chart. Like it gets to 370, that's probably a little bit overextended, given the fact that the market is still trying to even go green on the NASDAQ. The ES is pretty much green right now. I only have 2 longs to 2 shorts. We'll see what happens with Affirm. The good news for Affirm would be, as the market is continuing to make fresh highs, we're still in the exact same channel. So my stop isn't here. My stop is actually right around here, and I cross up to that. Until it breaks 14, I don't want to be getting out. I might hold some down into VWAP, but there's not really much of a reason to make a decision on this just yet. We're still in the pocket when it comes to Affirm. Tesla might be pulling back a little bit for me. Okay, so Tesla's starting to pull back. Now I want to try and grab this off 145, give it to that fresh low. I wanted to dip down to this area, catch a bid. I didn't quite get it on the way back up, but I want to go long in front of this little support that it just found, 144.75. So on the way back in, I want to be able to get Tesla. I'm very close to adding to Alibaba, not taking out, adding to Alibaba. And yeah, I can pretty much stick a fork in buying the dip on NVIDIA at this point. Every time it looks like it's reversing, I'm like, oh, get a bid out there. It goes nowhere close and then makes another fresh high. NVIDIA is a monster right now. The same way Netflix is a monster, NVIDIA is an absolute beast. Where'd Amazon? Someone just said Amazon. Amazon's at 97. Wow. I remember the scalp shorts at 95. That was good times. Amazon, where are we going here, Amazon? All right, 90. Oh, what am I talking about? I know the level. 98. 98 was, I'm not standing in front of that thing unless it's like $98. Forget about that. We just got into Alphabet, and then very quickly, tight stop, overlapping, that's not too bad. But I'm kind of done fighting these shorts. I'm in Affirm right now, and it's still in the pocket. Until I see a reversal, like the market show me that it wants to sell off a little bit, or see something happen rejecting one of these levels here and we get a real pullback, I don't want to be fighting this. Like this is now one of the more impressive reversals you've ever seen. We'll stick with the longs that we have. If I can buy a dip in something I like, I'll go over to that. Just to go back to the strongest name in the market today, here comes Shopify. This could be it, making a bit of a curl. Yeah, I just said I don't want to short, and it's like, oh, look at Shopify. This is probably giving you a reason because it's an actual pullback. There's a rejection of a level here, and that's a 15-minute chart. This is more of a rejection of a level. That's kind of what you want to see. As the market's making fresh highs, you've got a stock which is starting to give it back up. That makes a heck of a lot more sense to me, now shorting off the 48 level. If I can get 48s here, instead of sitting there in front of something, I'm trying to join a rejection and then see if it can fall a little bit further back there. If I saw a long up there, maybe I would have taken it. Mullen's not doing anything. Don't worry about that 35 just yet. You'll know if it breaks 35 because I'll get long.
Yeah, I like that call for sure, as our tweet just went out, so that worked out. Thanks, Mark, for that one. All right, so unfortunately, I'm not a man of my word, I guess, because we got stopped out of Meta, and the minute we got stopped out, I was like, you know what? Apple's not going, so I'd hate to get stopped out of my short, then have the market tank down, and I took nothing out of Apple. So I have some 12s and some 15s up here out. That's the best I have. It's right now, right here, right now. And again, it was really just because Meta went to the upside. And the minute I got stopped out of that, I had no more interest in the short. And I said, okay, well, hey, now if the market tanks, I have no way of making money. So let's make sure that we get something out there of Apple. And look, it's not taking 15. Like the market is breaking higher. I still love this long, but we were in it right here. We were in this long 5 minutes, 6 minutes ago. And the market is now up 20 handles on the NASDAQ. And this name is up 5 cents. So like, Meta ripped up. Like, when we got that Apple trade, like look where we got this. This was at 3 o'clock, almost exactly 3 o'clock, right? Meta at 3 o'clock was right down here at 42. So Meta's already up. They're the same price. Meta and Apple's the same price. Like Meta's already up here 20 cents plus on that break, right? Meanwhile, I can't get anything on Apple. Here's Apple right now. It's not breaking 15. Okay, now there, I offered, got 17s there. Now let's see if it goes back up to the upside now. We just broke 15. Let's go, man. I'm offering 23s now ahead on this one. So it's a big move for me. We put on it's a very good amount of shares there because I'm a little bit little bit upset. There it is. Let's go. Let's go. Not upset. It's just like I feel like I should still have these longs from time, and I don't, and we're already out of them. So here we go. Nice trade on Apple. There it is right there. It's 30 cents in the money. So yes, sir, we are making that money back, baby. This is what we do here on Trader TV Live. No matter what, like I have way too many fills today, guys. I have over 300 fills, but 300, it's more than that, it's like 380. But anyways, still a huge amount of fills today, and just quite frankly put, too many. And I'm doing it again right now. So let's wait to see here if Apple wants to go positive. We're now in it. I've actually wound up getting out now of 40% of the trade, but that's all good. It's 30 cents in the money, so that's a good trade for us. And again, imagine the share sizes and things like that. Let Neil and I deal with that. You guys just try to deal with, you know, our ins and outs and what we're talking about there. I really like that 142 break. It bounced off the 50 period. It's been really respecting that the whole way up. So again, you know, that's the kind of move. And I did want to say something because earlier we got a super chat in the morning from, I think it was something not for something, I don't remember what it was. And it was about like resources and do we have any resources? And I said that you've already found the best resource. And I really do truly believe that, right? I mean, we're sitting here every single day putting on trades, and then what I'm trying to do, like I just did right there, is talk about how and why, you know, we're making these trades, and then hopefully the decisions that we make can help you improve your thought process and what you're looking at. Because the worst way to learn how to trade is by copying somebody else. It's not like, oh, Sean's long 142, therefore I have to get long 142. Like, or Neil, vice versa. Neil's breaking Mullen long if it breaks, because that's the trade. Like, that's what we've been looking at. We've seen day high breaks before, and we want to be involved, right? So you got to understand your own risk tolerance, where you're comfortable with the trade, and assess it from there, right? So that's sort of what I meant. I didn't mean to like brush that comment off. It's just, that's exactly what we strive to do every single day, is to help our viewers answer as many questions as we can. And honestly, man, not ignore, obviously, any super chats. Obviously. And so that's that. And there it is, man. Look at Apple, went all the way to the upside. And you could see, even as I was talking, out 25, out 30, out 39, out 40, out 32. Like, we have the ability to do that. So those are some of the trades that I just put on there for Apple.
And just, I don't want to interrupt there, but just as I was getting more shares of Alibaba to the long side, come to my level 2. I don't know if maybe you can't see it now. Okay, you're going to have to trust me. There was 170,000 on the offer at 120.30. Maybe it kind of pops in there when the EdgeX book will show up, but there's a monster offer at 30, so it was kind of plowing through. There was kind of a volume spike in there. That's where I was able to add to it, and then there was a huge offer that showed up. Once it if it clears that offer, not once it clears. If it clears through that offer, I want some out as it goes, and then I'm trying to get out on the way, not everything on the way up to 121, but that just happened on Alibaba. I did just get Shopify. That was showing a bit of a rollover, so it started coming down. As the market was going higher, it was already rejecting the top. It retests 48, that's a lower high. You know, that's going to be a short setup for me, so I'm now into Shopify off of this level. I'll probably get some bids out, and I'll zoom in so this actually looks a little bit more. There you go. Makes a little bit more sense in here. So you have the top end of the range here, that's 47.75. That's where I want to start getting out in front of that level. And then if it breaks to the downside, the market flushes, I feel pretty decent that this might be overextended. And I was corrected by Austin Sowers, because I was like, well, Shop, the strongest name in the market today. Correction, it's the strongest name on my quote board. I'm sure there's probably many other names that have done more than Shopify today. I'm just probably not looking at them today. It's just my quote board, this is by far like the strongest thing I've been able to see. And as Sean mentioned, if Mullen breaks, I'm looking for that long. It's getting pretty darn close. So this is it clawing back to the upside. I just like this structure of a breakout. Consistent higher lows. That's on the 3-minute. Let me go over to the 15-minute that matters a little bit more to me here. This is your 35. It's made some higher lows. It's been all green in here, and I think there's a good channel for it to get potentially up to this 39.40. That sets it up to be a decent risk reward. You can hit 35, get like quarters, like 35.25 or something, give it a penny risk to try and make 3 or 4. You know, maybe you start getting out at 2 cents and then get like 3 or 4. That's what I'm looking for that top break, but it has to actually break out. Otherwise, no trade for me. If I get another short, it's probably going to be Intel at this point. As I smirk about it, Yeah, it doesn't want to go to 30. So this stock does not want to get to 30 before turning around. I might have to approach this like Shopify and short the lower high if I want to get into this name. It's not green yet, and even NVIDIA just pulled back a little bit. So if NVIDIA can't go higher, if NVIDIA is not going to make a fresh high, well, then Intel's not breaking the high of the day, right?
No.
Well, I mean, it's not. It's not guaranteed. It's just I'm kind of talking to
life.
myself there when I say that. It's
we try to talk ourselves into
rhetorical
positions
question
here all the time. But yeah, so there we go. Like, look what just happened to Meta. We got taken out. It came right back in. That would have been a winner. So we're gonna go long off of it, resisting that 50 period again, just to see if it goes back to the upside. This is not a trade that we're gonna be in for a long time. We're getting out if it breaks that range bottom right there, 142.35. So again, we're in this name at 50 right now. You can see it long on the board. Meta 51. Oh yeah, rounded up. Okay, 51s right there on Meta. So let's wait to see what's happening right here off of this bottom, 142.35. But I have good news though, because we're long Apple, and despite the market pulling back off, and again, look where the market just bounced off, 11,900, right? That's a level that we've talked about over and over again here on the show many times, right there, 11,900, right there. It was a bar coding area before. If we break through that 11,900, which we just stopped, literally, I think it was, I mean, did we even get higher than that? We went to, what is the high of the day here? 03s, 04s, something like that. So that's pretty much right on the dot there. The stop and then the drop. And let's see if it gets back down here. And then that's the reload back to the long side, if you can, on the NASDAQ. But here it comes in right now. It looks like it wants to drop down, downside right now. So we're going to watch out for Apple. Apple's come back up a little bit. I'm going to put on a little bit more at 142 in case the futures want to go back to the upside. So let's put on a little more long here for Apple back at 142, which we're at right now. So maybe even just the price we're at, we'll put some more long here just in case it goes. See, now all of a sudden, I don't feel so bad about getting out when we did up here, right? And so that's the life of a trader, man. You're going to go back and forth with your trades, wonder why you didn't hold, wonder why you got out. But at the same time, we just say it all the time. Stay true to who you are. Make sure that you trade your own book and nobody else's, and just try to learn every single day. Take your notes with you, man. Like, take them on the subway, take them home, do a trade journal, all that kind of stuff. And it's not like we don't do that. I mean, we do that, right? We actually are lucky enough that our trading is all here live every single day. So we do have a lot of accountability right in front of our face.
I love what's one of my favorite words. I literally have a WhatsApp group with some friends of mine, and it's called accountability. And mostly it's for like fitness and eating healthy and stuff like that. But like everybody has to you post, and you got to be truthful on there. It's all about being true to yourself, and being true with yourself is the other point. I'm out of Lucid. I think I explained why earlier. Like, in all of this run-up, Lucid has been failing the breakout. Like, it will not continue through this 890. It just keeps on running out of steam. Tesla looked like it was getting a little bit top-heavy and pulling back, and I was going to buy the dip on Tesla, which was showing a little bit more strength going into this. So I am now out of the Lucid trade, which does leave Alibaba as the only long up here that I have. I haven't taken anything out of Shopify yet, but it's starting to come back. I have my 15-minute up because I'm trying to remind myself how far this could pull back. Like, you look at that kind of a gap. Like, you can look at the 15 or like the 3-minute, and I'm already starting to bid when this goes like 15, 20 cents in the money. But on the 15-minute chart, it's like, yeah, that could go a heck of a lot further to the downside. And it's the same thing with a firm, right? Like, I tend to show you guys, I have a 3-minute, 15-minute daily chart. Those are my bread and butter. Sometimes you want to make sure you're constantly zooming out to get the bigger picture of where the stock is. So I'm still in a firm. It's still in the same channel. It's looking like it wants to test that bottom of the channel. But until it really does, I'm not making a decision inside the range. I want to break this outside of the range to the downside. If it goes to the downside, I think we're going to be good here. And what was the other one? There was one more I wanted to talk about. It wasn't Mullen. It was something else. Oh, I think it was Amazon. Amazon continuing to claw higher. If you want another name which is just insanely strong, what's up with that wick? I mean, Amazon just gave a 97. I'm trying not to fight this. I'm in a firm short, I like that one. I'm in shop short, I like that one. I'd probably be short off the 97 after that wick top if I wasn't already in these other two. But fighting the trend, you want to be, you don't want to be sitting in 5 shorts against the trend this afternoon, or 3 or 4. Pick the ones that you like the best, that you think can roll over the most, and try to avoid the rest of them. And the shorts were okay if you were scalping them early, but this is what fighting the trend looks like. Yeah, I'm staying away from you, Amazon. It's not going to happen.
I don't know. What's up to Dan Emmons there in the chat and a few of the other guys that have been around for a very, very long time? You guys are making me nervous, man. Everybody thinks this market's going to drop like a rock here, and I don't. The problem is I don't necessarily disagree, and that's the thing. Like you're not breaking through this 50 period right now, right? And if you do, then I am a little worried about it because it just bounced off that 11,900. I am thinking about a short here, which is why like I'm getting out of some of this Apple, which sounds ridiculous at these levels. I mean, if it breaks back up, there it is. I mean, if it breaks back up to the upside, fine. But, you know, we just took advantage of that in the 17s, 18s, 20s a little bit there on this bump up. So there we go. Now we have half of our position left. I mean, look, if it breaks back down below this 80, we're out. So it's not going to be a huge hit anyways. We're long at 05, but don't want to lose 20 cents. It's just, I'm a little bit nervous about that. Look what's giving it all back right now. Look at Meta. Meta's completely collapsing. This is a short that we had, man, and now it's right back there. We probably should be still short Meta, but we're not. So that sucks again, because that was a name that we liked to the short side. 141.95 on a break of Meta right there, the 200 period. I'm doing it. So that's what I want to get. Again, It's been my worst stock of the day, so it's not. I won't hold on to this for a very long time. If we're going to be wrong on Meta, we'll be wrong on it and then get away. So right now, Meta looking like it does want to keep going down low. If it takes down this 142 right now, I think that we are going to take it. So let's do that. Just debating how many shares we want to take. Like, you know, hundreds, where are we right now with that kind of a breakdown? All right, I'll put it in right now, and then we'll see. But I like that 142 basic breakdown. I'm gonna wait for a little bit lower, 141.95 or so. Maybe that's 85. So we'll give it a little bit of room here. But if the market does crash down, that means that Meta is most likely breaking that 142, and we want to be part of that one. So yeah, have clawed out of some of the apples. We just put Apple on, and it's not one of my better stocks today, but it's a good one as we've been taking advantage of that. Look at Apple. Apple looks like it wants to break right now. So here it goes, right back down into the downside. There goes Apple.
Yeah, we're now starting to come back to the downside here. I just got first fill. Shopify starting to get down to the bottom end of the channel here. So we'll ring the register. I said I'd wait for like 20 to 25 cents on the first fill. That's what I did. The same thing with Affirm, patiently waiting. Like, you had all day if you like Affirm off that yesterday's high. Look how long it held at the top end of this range, right? Now you're starting to break back down in. But when you're in the pocket, you know, you're looking for the breakout. You just want to be patient and wait for it until it does. I'm not going to sit there and maybe punch out and get myself in and out over and over again. I just think if we break from here, we should see 1370s. I'll try to get it all out. The only long I still have is Alibaba, which is going to be the bane of my existence, because I was just saying, you don't have to make a decision until it breaks the channel. I added to this when it looked like it was breaking. It ran into that 170,000 share order on the offer, rejected it, and now it could break the channel to the downside. So if it breaks the channel to the downside, it means the short was probably good. I reversed into the long on Alibaba, and I will get stopped out, and I'll be left holding only 2 shorts. I guess a similar thing could happen in Google. Well, not similar, because I didn't go long in Google, but I was stopped out when it made a fresh high. This is looking weak again. Still not sure why I'm not seeing pre-market data on Alphabet here, but whatever. This could be headed down to VWAP. It does feel like these shorts want to come in. That's why I didn't change it to the bull, because the ES goes right on the tip of going green, and it reverses. So we could find ourselves with a pullback heading into the close, checking back in on Tesla, because where is it at? I'm going to draw this back a little bit because that just accelerated. I'm going to draw my bid back a little closer to that support, 144.75. Instead of being out in front of 145, just going to give it a little bit more leeway to buy the dip on Tesla. I still like buying the dip here just because every single one of these earnings plays that we've seen, the big ones anyways, they've trended the same direction going into the close. If that happens, I still want to give the long a chance for Tesla, but I just want a tighter stop.
All right. Apple. Okay, yeah, so where's my Apple out? Okay, there it is right there. So Apple did wind up crashing down. So we'll flush whatever. We're still positive on Apple. So it's just, we sense that was going to break a little lower. And it looks like the fact that this broke, and, you know, I was just like, let's wait for Meta. And, like, Meta goes back up right now. So, like, yeah, I don't have a good maybe I don't have the right read here at all on Meta. So I'm gonna sort of cancel that. I don't understand. We had a much better read on Apple, sensing that Apple was going down, and that is the one that went down. So we'll take an L on our last piece there, but you know what? Still a positive stock. Just sucks that it didn't get going. I do have another trade that I'm looking at. I'm not going to look at Meta anymore. I'm going to look at Microsoft to the downside. You know, this is, I have to take trades that I think are good trades. And I mean, honestly, like a break lower than this, to me, you're below the 50 period. You got the 200 right here. It's looking like it wants to be a good trade. I don't know. Here's the 3-minute chart. You're approaching the 50 period right here at 75. I'm actually going to take it on that break. So I'm looking for a short here in Microsoft, breaking below right now 70. So if we can break below 70 here, I mean, that's 74. I mean, close enough. Let's see what happens right now for this name. You know, the market just broke the 50 period. We called that. Someone said earlier, like, I should just trade the market. I think you're probably right on that again. But here we go. Let's see what Microsoft wants to do here. Hopefully it breaks lower and we can have that trade. And again, if we're wrong, I think we have some decent outs right here. Like even this out, 241.13, something like that. Like there's a long way down here for Softy if it wants to go. So let's wait to see. That's 240.45. So right there, we're going to take a little bit on our first piece if it comes down there. So that'll be like 30 cents. So yeah, maybe that's decent risk to reward up there, but it needs to break first.
Come to me.
Look at, we're going to go to you in 1 second. We should have reversed into Apple. Look at Apple. Absolutely tanking. Go ahead there.
Mullen, that 35 is on the offer again. It's 1.5 million. I just want to give a caveat to everybody. It's more than 1.5 million shares. It's probably closer to like 1.6 or 1.7, but it's done 300 million in volume, if I can trust my system, which I do. So it's going to chew through that like a hot knife through butter. It doesn't care about that much size. That can be broken in an absolute heartbeat. So I'm going to take that break when it does go. I was just in the dip on Tesla. I'll get to what happened here. It got right into that support, what I thought was support. It broke it. I'm out of that very quickly. So I go with the one that lost, and then we can talk about what is working. We just broke another channel down in Shopify. Out of the corner of my eye, I have a level 2 up here. So if I do get triggered in a Mullen, even if I'm not sort of watching it or showing it to you guys here, I will definitely get that fill and just jump right over to it. It's going to have to take some time to get through that level, I think. You know, it's one of these, I think it goes, and it's a huge level, but it might just take a couple of tests. You can see the nice gradual trend. That's what I like in a breakout. The second it's through, my first order of action, once I get the fill, is I'm just going to throw orders out probably in the 6.5 to 7 range and then see how far it can go from there. But I do want to play the first initial momentum on that said breakout. Alibaba, it is still just chilling. So the one long, even in this pullback, Alibaba is doing that thing that it does at 120, where it doesn't fail, it doesn't continue, it just goes sideways. Thank you for the Chinese ADRs, which are so exciting in the morning, and then when it gets to the level that you want, it does absolutely nothing. Thank you, Alibaba. Why do I still trade these things in the afternoon? It's like, you kidding me?
Why?
I know.
Okay, so we went back. So we're now short Microsoft, but we went back long Apple off that 140-150. It's a cash money trade. As look where we're long on Apple. 56, it's at 80. So we make back what we lost there, but we still are short Microsoft. So there's the new trade alert for us on the short of MSFT. Let's see if that one wants to go down. We're short 67s, so I don't know. We'll put a bid at 50 or so. Maybe we get that, maybe we don't. But right now we're short Microsoft. We called that trade. As I'm in this position, I'm also trying to manage this guy. We are now pretty light on Apple because I prefer this Microsoft short than this Apple long. So we're cashing out of that. We only have 20% left on Apple. If it goes great. But now we just got out again at 77. There it is. All right, first take right now. Bang on Microsoft. There it is. We just gave you this trade. Like, guys, we're hitting these trades, man. Like, there's a 70 short. We just covered at 50. It's 20 cents. It's pretty quick. We only got out at 20% actually down there at 50. Let's see if it goes back down even further now. These are some of those break levels for Microsoft. Look, I have to get it out there. I have to. That's the 200 period. Like, that's actually, we got, 50. Yeah, 50 is okay, perfect. So we got out right there. That's, for me, that's an out every time. Let's see now if it goes back down again into the bottom right now. So we'll see if Microsoft can take down down that wick, that's 10s. So right now, let's just put a bid near 10. Like, we got to sort of be a little bit more, able to let it ride, like not conservative, a little more aggressive actually in our takes here. So let's go to the downside. It's 20 cents already. It's already R to R, fine. We were gonna get out maybe, I was thinking here, which is like 15s. So we're not quite at 1-to-1 yet. Needs to make a little bit of a move down, but there we are. We're out at 20% of Microsoft. Let's hope that there is a continued move here in MSFT to the downside. So let's go, man. It's a money trade right now. We just gave it to you. Do that money dance, Microsoft, and get down to the downside right now, please and thank you.
It finally happened. It finally broke 35. You'll see I'm long Mullen. It's not 35 cents I'm long. I'm long at 35.13 because that's how it rolls. I've got my offers out, see if it can continue to go. The shorts are still okay. I'm going to go for the reload. What I got out of a firm, I want to get more shares back in if it comes back up to that 14.20. So it started to break the channel. If it puts in a lower high, I want to add back into this. And someone was saying in the chat there, they're like, yeah, BOVESPA's relatively strong. The long is fine. These pullbacks are healthy. Yes, it's relatively strong. The pullbacks are healthy, but it's 3:30 and we're day trading. So yeah, I still like it, but I'm going to have to start clearing some of this out up here because we only have 29 minutes left in the market, and I can't hold this till 4:15 to see what happens in the aftermarket or see what happens tomorrow. If I want to go long off 120 tomorrow, it has to be at 120 tomorrow so I can put the trade on in the morning. I can't do anything about it. Like, it's a decent pullback. It doesn't break the channel down. But if it can't get through this seller, who, by the way, is still there, thank you very much, whoever this is, Alibaba. I don't know why this doesn't change when I flip. But Alibaba, yeah, there it is. 170,000. The first time it got here on Baba, it was screaming through the top. It saw this order and then started pulling back. It's done 8 million shares, so it's not as if it can't get through that high. 170,000 shares in an 8 million day. Yes, notionally that's a lot of money. That is a big position, but it can get through that, and it's about to challenge it now. I've just scalped some out so that if it goes back into 120 or like 119.80, I can add something back in here. Because if it just sits inside the range, I might as well try to at least play this range. Like, that's 30 cents as a day trader, 30, 40 pennies. I could have taken that already like 3 or 4 times, and I've been not doing it to try and hold out for the break. Finally, Alibaba's trying to go, but here is that offer once again, 170,000. Has to chew through them.
So even though Microsoft, Alibaba, we like that name, these Chinese ADRs, good trades, like Neil said, questionable in the afternoon, as he mentioned there. So, but in today's market, everything seems to be moving. We got a great fill there at 35, man. I mean, we talked about where we need to get this out for Microsoft. So we will average back in if it gets up here into the 90s on Microsoft. But we just got out right there on that nice little move to the bottom. We got to go to my screen here a little bit. Right there. So that's where we bought recently. It didn't get down that low, but once it screamed and sort of broke, we did take a piece out there at 34s. So hopefully we get another move down and we'll be able to watch out for that one. But Nike's another trade that we have. We're still short from here. We haven't really gotten anything out. We should have. I didn't even notice this. We could have reshorted it right there, and we didn't. So that's a mistake. But right now, still holding on to the Nike short. As we go over to Brendan with a crypto update.
Hey guys, I'm going to move back to the upside here late in the day for some cryptocurrencies. I'll give you a look here in a second. Some of the headlines still coming through this afternoon about this story that we mentioned this morning. Luno cutting 35% of its staff, still that negative overall context in the crypto market. 600 employees, they'll cut about 210, but more job cuts, unfortunately, coming through crypto land. Here we go right now. Breaking back to the upside for both BTC and Ethereum. Remember, Ethereum was down about 4% at one point today. Bitcoin was never that bad, but still in the red. Regardless, just tested 22,950 there at the high on that last push to the upside. Same story for ETH. Red board still, but remember this morning, a lot of these were 4 or 5+% to the downside. So 0.5% there for Bitcoin, now 2.5% for Ethereum. Still holding on to 15.76, as I mentioned, 22.879 for Bitcoin, guys, on a bit of a red day as well.
Yeah, the market tries to go green. Crypto tries to go green. We'll see if it gets there. I'm going to go back to Mullen in a quick second because that's a weak break so far. But Shopify got one leg out. I did not just reload up there. I thought I was a little closer to 48s, but kind of like a firm. get some out on the bottom of that channel when it tries to break. I'm going to get more back in at 48 even. But it's a weak break on Mullen. I'll tell you why. Like, it tried to go, was about to get through 36. I'm like, okay, let me get something out in front of 36. Put offer, starts pulling back in here. I'm going to take some out if we break, like, right here, like 34.5, if only because I don't want this falling in all the way into VWAP. That's not going to work when there's only 25 minutes left. I can't hold it into 4:15 or 4:40 or 5 o'clock whenever this thing actually decides to go. So I'm just going to get a bunch out if it holds this, if it breaks that 34.5, and then if it bounces off VWAP, maybe that's a re-entry point that makes some sense to me. That offer is still there on Alibaba. Every time it goes in the money, it tries to break the high. It cannot get through it. It's just going to have to punch through that order, but it could run out of time on me, in which case I'll have to get out even if it doesn't hit my stop. And that's part of the, I might have to get out of a firm even if it doesn't break the high of the day on the short. I'm going to try and get more shares. If it breaks the top, I'm out. But we're starting to run out of time here. We got an early look on the imbalances, and it says 43 million to sell. So a very, very tiny small imbalance, which is probably not going to do anything to the market if it comes out that way. So I don't think we have too much to worry about with the imbalances, at least for now.
Hopefully every single share to sell is Microsoft because we are short on Microsoft and it's just bouncing around. Like, again, it just went into that 35 level again. We didn't take it. So now we do have, I did put a bid now back at 40. So it's just too many dump offs right there. Apple's working nicely to the upside. Keep hearing everybody talk about Boyle. It's been well boiled this year for sure here on this name. I'm guessing there's no reverse split or anything in this. There has to have been something going on with this. This is Nat Gas. So, Boyle, this is a double Nat Gas ETF. I don't know enough about this, so maybe you guys in the chat that are talking all about it can tell me because...
Nat Gas has been dying.
Yeah, I know, but like this much? Like, I don't know. I just feel like Nat Gas shouldn't have been at like... this I know Nat Gas is going down. We've talked about that. We talked about that with Arun here on the show. Let's go Microsoft. Let's go to the downside right now. But Boyle right here, like, I don't have much to say about it other than like I'm going to do some work because this is way down. Some assets making moves back to the upside right now. Boyle down 11.5 today. So again, it's a double ETF against Nat Gas. Nice bottom there at 850. So if you're looking at that, we do have oil and Nat Gas quoted on here, but oil's now closed. It closes right there at 230. They're on the floor trade now, just doing electronic trading, but it's nicely up since then. So we'll see if Nat Gas follows. But for right now, yeah, man, Boyle, what a move on that name this year. Nat Gas, wow. I thought some portfolios were looking pretty bad. If you were long Boyle, you're not too happy. We just, by the way, we just got a 20 fill right there on Microsoft. So you want to talk about some wins, man? We're not taking 10 cents. Like that right there was 40 cents on Microsoft, but it's a mover. So that's the thing, right? Stay aggressive with your positions, but understand we're heading into the close now, so it could be a little bit of a wild ride, needless to say, as this market is still pretty choppy right here. So, hold on to your longs or shorts if you like them.
Hold on to your butts,
yeah.
as Samuel L. Jackson. Does anybody remember what movie he said, hold on to your butts? Probably not the one you're thinking of, because a lot of people forget that he was in this one. But we are heading back into the downside. Rinse and repeat.
I was going to say snakes on a plane, but that doesn't...
It's not snakes on a plane. I want to see if anyone actually gets it. It's not that easy. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it's that easy. Matt, real human. You have to tell us you're a real human? Okay, I believe you. Apparently, everyone got Jurassic Park here. It is Jurassic Park. Some people forget that he was in Jurassic Park because the dude is in everything that banks in the box office because he's the man. But we're heading to the downside here. I did just get rinse and repeat, 48 Shopify. There's 70s. There's 50s. That's pretty quick. You like the level. Here is a difference between Shopify and just about every other short that I was taking. It gets to a high, 48, rejects the high, starts breaking down, puts in lower highs, the market's still breaking out, and then now it's relatively weak. So that's working a heck of a lot better than a firm is, because a firm gets to the high and has been basically sitting here. So I haven't reloaded on this one just yet. Somehow, magically, not magically, because it's not going anywhere. The good thing about Alibaba not going anywhere is at least it doesn't go against me. It's like it's not breaking out and giving me the dollar, but at least it's not going against me when the market pulls back. So there's that much.
We were just like We just got 20s on Microsoft.
I said but.
Now we just got 90s short on Microsoft. Like Microsoft just moved up $1 right there in 1 minute. So, all right, we're going to get stopped out, man. If this blasts too much more, we're out. There it is,
Whoa,
we're out. Like that just, okay, that took off. I feel like right now we got to do a little more work here because, you know, we're getting out and then we're kind of giving it back when it rips up like that. So Microsoft right there, wow. I mean, whatever. We're also 50 cents in the money on Apple right now, but that Microsoft just right up to the upside there probably got stopped out there for no reason. So let's try it again. We'll go short again there. We're going to give this one. What was that high where we literally just made the high there? 242.20, that was the high. All right, what a surprise. All right, so let's go into that one. This has been a wild day. Like these are super crazy days. Needless to say, wish we were still in that, but we're not. We're gonna put our order now a little bit higher. So this way, if we get stopped out now, and again, all these trades we're getting stopped out, but they're still controlled stop outs. I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but like that's really what it's all about. I thought I punched back short Microsoft, but I guess I did not. So I'm gonna have to get short right now into Softy. I thought I got short there and I didn't. Now it comes right back in. That sucks because we just got stopped out again right now, but we'll go short here. And then we're gonna go short a lot more if we do get back up here, a level that we were much more concerned with than where we are right now. So I thought like I said, I thought we got short. So I do have an update though quickly here because it's 3:40. So my wife took offense to this short, when I said that the shoveling. Where's the video? This is not the video. I wanted to show you. There's actually a video. I'm just going to see if I
shoveling?
Can refresh it of the shoveling or of something.
She's probably playing it up a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. I'm going to say open this in a new window right here. So yeah, every time I open a new window, it's not playing. But okay, here it is. We'll just call this up right now. So here we go. Let me just see this really quickly here. So she's commenting here. She said, not that bad, right? And watch, she's going to show here. This is what's happening right now. Little blizzardy. You can't probably see the bottom there, but I think there's decent amount of snow.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyways, I'll tell her that you said it's not that bad.
No. There was one shot you could actually kind of get a context for
that's not a great
how
movie
thick the
there.
snow was. Nice try, Marissa. Come on, I see that.
Yeah.
Happy wife, happy life. Hi, Marissa. What's up? Have a good day.
You know that.
So we like to have fun. It's all good. But it wasn't that bad. I don't think I'm being crazy or anything. A couple of things about Shopify here. I just got more shares. This is actually working to the downside, but if at this point, if it goes back up to 48, I am not reloading it. Because after this kind of breakdown, if it goes back to the top, it ain't no good. It's not any good. It ain't no good. I can say it. Who cares? I can say whatever I want. I don't think it's any good if it goes back up to that top. So I'm just going to get out of it. Mullen's not going. This just looks like Alibaba, the breakout. Like, what are you going to do, right? You take it, doesn't want to flush, doesn't want to go. We got 15 minutes left until the close. At some point, you got to get out of Dodge. It's the same thing. Like a firm, I sit in it looking for the breakdown that Shopify is giving me right now, and it's not going anywhere. So I'm going to start working out of this. Had no choice, like above the 14 level. I'm short at 8, so if it comes back down to 14, I'll get a couple of legs out. This is more about it's running out of time. Not much you can do with it. We have to be flat at the end of the day, which is the close. I just want to point out Netflix never got to 370. If it went to 370, I probably would have taken a shot at it. Still an impressive day for Netflix, but look, it's not doing much either. This is why the market is kind of not barcoding is the wrong word for what's happening up here, but you're not making a test of the highs from yesterday. You're also not flushing back through the morning resistance level, and that's sort of the problem. Like individual names are starting to go. Like Shop had no trouble pulling back, but that's probably because Shopify was up 11%, not up 1%. These stocks that are kind of following the market a little bit closer, like they're flat or up 1%, they're not really going anywhere unless the market does something drastic.
We took another piece out there on Microsoft, but it's like I just look back at these charts. It's like to have still been short and not got stopped, like if that just didn't go that extra 2 cents there, then we'd be short a lot of shares. Because unfortunately, I thought I punched back in and I didn't get them, so that was the problem. So I had to take it there. I thought I was going short at 14 right there when I punched back in after I saw that wick, but unfortunately, don't have that trade in the book right now. We only have the one that we have, and we just took it out right there at 65. Not out all of it. We took out 40%. To be honest with you, we put that. It was hey look. it was a good short for us, man. We just put 20 cents in our pocket, so we'll wait for that. The same that we lost there, but it was on more shares. So hopefully it does rally back up to the upside. It's only 43 million shares to sell, not shares, net to sell when you add it all up, notional. Apple just went up, now it's coming back down. If Apple takes down where we're in, then we're gonna get out. That's 141.56. So a break of that and we're gone. We don't need to hold anything into this close. It's very dangerous. We only have a few minutes and then these imbalances are gonna load up. So, you know, when they do load up right now, it's all as of 9:30. So I'm gonna get rid of ARCA unless Boyle shows up. That's the NYSE exchange. But, you know, this is what was from this morning. Pretty mixed board here. So this is going to update at 3:50. And when that does, so we have 5 minutes now, then you're going to see where the pressure is in the market, right? So like if Microsoft has, let's go over to Microsoft right now. It's coming back in. That's a good trade right now. If Microsoft has like 1 million shares to sell, then you'll see this flush down, right? You'll see Microsoft flush down even more because there's a sell pressure into the close. So we're going to wait to see what's going on. Oh, man, too bad. Sorry about that, Marissa. Like, karate's not canceled yet. Hopefully it is pretty soon. There's a flush right back into the same level. So I will take one more out here in the mid-30s just in case, because again, we're 4 minutes away now from the imbalances, so that can change everything. It just went right back into the area of concern for me, so let's take one more bid out. I'm in 36, I'm at 36, so that's good right there. We'll spin the money. It's too bad because it was a lot more money than this if we had just sort of not gotten stopped out, but we did, and that is the market function for you. So far so good here as we wait for the imbalances.
Yeah, we wait for the imbalances to come out. We'll see what happens. It doesn't mean they have to move. Absolutely, we'll see. Someone just said it would be a shame if Mullen went after 4 o'clock and it's like you had to get out and then it decides to go. It wouldn't be the first time. Like if you're a day trader, you've been in this situation before where you're looking for that late day break. It's a good technical level, and then absolutely nothing happens. However, let's remember there's still tomorrow. And if it does hold up, like if this is still 34, 35, that's a trade that could be in there tomorrow. There's always a decent chance if it makes the run. Let's just say at 4 o'clock it makes the run to 40, and then I'm staring at 34, 35 tomorrow morning, and it's already made the push to 40 in the aftermarket, I would automatically downgrade the long at that price. But I am going to have to, like I said, I'm going to tighten up the stop for like 80% of the position because there's not enough time for it to go. So this is me. I'm not out of everything on Mullen, but I just can't. Like, you're not holding it the entire way back into 33. You have a breakout trade. It's because it's a momentum trade and you want it to go. If it takes this long to go, even if the uptrend happens and it breaks at 4 o'clock, that's not going to be worth it. So I'm out of the majority of this. I'll see if it can't dip here, maybe get another run and hold the last of it till like 350. But at some point, you have to accept the reality of the situation, just like I'm going to do with a firm, right? You know, Shopify was fine. A firm's not going anywhere. If I have to start covering for like 3 or 4 pennies on a firm, it is what it is. It doesn't want to give me more than that at this particular point. I'm going to, as we get close to the imbalances, I'm going to slap a trailing stop on Shopify. So trailing stop just means you're in the money. So my stop out's no longer going to be the high of the day or 48 even. I'm going to slap a trailing stop in here around 47.50 right before the imbalances come out. Once they're out, I'm looking for this to continue trending to VWAP, ideally, but if it breaks back to the high, I'm not waiting till it gets to break even to get out. That's just kind of throwing away a good position, which I don't like doing at all. Just to go back over to one other name, I have canceled my bid on Tesla. As I was saying, it's a little bit late. I was looking to grab the next bid in here, probably around 143.50. Too late in the day to try to scalp the long on Tesla. Going into the earnings, by the way, it's going to be wild. We're not likely to get Tesla on air because they never really report right after market.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, we're probably going to have to talk about this one tomorrow. Tesla's going to be wild, but you won't get to see that kind of post-market action that sometimes we can give you.
All right, guys, once again, thanks for watching here as we are now only 2 minutes away from the imbalances. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button as you'll want to get reminded when we're here. We're here every day, if that's a reminder. All right, so yeah, let's go, man. Now we're just chilling. We only have 40% of this trade left, which kind of sucks because of that stop out. And this is the funny thing, like you don't get stopped out there, then you're really, it does change the trajectory a little bit for me, but we're still in this trade. Let's bring this down to the bottom now with only a couple minutes left. And this should show you everything you need to know here on today. Like, you know, you never know what the day's going to bring. If any indication is of Microsoft, we started really short Microsoft. All the shorts are on the sticky note today, and I think it was one of the best sticky notes, and we actually crushed it. And then we went long right to the backside there. It's just now we're going back and forth with Microsoft because there's no direction, but the morning was absolutely fantastic, let alone Google as well. This is my #1 stock now. Google, yeah. Apple and Google are sort of battling each other. And again, this is just off this. I know it was a trade of the day for Neil. Look at that, 96 short all the way down, right? 95, covering even down here at 94, then going long. Anytime you see red ticks, those are sells getting out, right? So that's a sell order right there on that. So yeah, getting out. We're gonna watch out for that move now here on Google into the close. As Neil, we're only 30 seconds away.
Yes,
so yeah, getting ready for this to move.
Yeah, I've got my trailing stops in. That seller on Baba, it broke. They filled him for 170. Well, I shouldn't say him. They filled that order for 170,000 shares on the offer. However, it went like 2 cents. So big volume spike. It didn't go anywhere. Someone just asked, where do you get the imbalance feed? I'm going to show it to you here. But it's embedded in the market data feeds. We see it as like a widget or an app in our platform, but you probably have to contact your broker. Apple is 1 million to sell, Roku for 1 million to sell. Who cares about Roku? Alphabet 500,000 to buy, Tesla 500,000 to sell, Microsoft 480,000 to sell. Not gigantic, really. I mean, it looks overall to the sell side, because the only buy in there was, what did I say? It was Google was the only buy in there, Alphabet, I should say. So 1.4 billion, we just got it from Brendan. The total imbalance to the sell side, 1.4 billion. Maybe that means, I mean, Baba's not going anywhere. It doesn't seem to care. I just got filled on a firm, but as I told you guys about this one, you know, even though, like, these aren't, hit enter another time. Like, I'm not really losing on this trade, but it's a losing trade as far as I'm concerned because it's opportunity cost. Maybe there was something better I could have taken. Like, there was. I could have had Intel. When I'm getting short on a firm, this is the opportunity cost. Where is Intel when I'm getting short on a firm? There's a top. That's the name I should have gone back to. If I do that, then it's a winning trade. So I might not lose on a firm, but I want to make sure a firm is up when I do this. I want to slap a fail on Intel because Intel's good. Slap a fail on this trade, even if it goes break even or maybe a little bit better, it definitely took me away from what could have been better trades. Shopify, that's been solid. I can't complain about this at all, but let's not forget, I had too much of a market bias to the short side, and I didn't hang on to my longs in Shopify earlier today. So while this has been solid this afternoon, it definitely could have been a much better morning holding on to those Shopify longs. I'm going to tighten up my trailing stop as it's getting toward the end of the day. I'll kind of give it to 40s here. Let's see if it can crack that 47 even. It's about 60 cents in the money, 70 pennies in the money. I'd love to see a $1.20. It has moved top to bottom here on the day, like $6-7. I think it can do maybe another 40 cents here.
I'm wondering about punching more short in Microsoft right now, breaking back down through 240, but we just covered there at 20. I don't know. Oh, we're getting we're at 52 on Nike there. So if Nike comes back in, we'll take that 50 cents off that short right now for a good trade, man. Been really solid on Nike when we traded it. So hopefully we'll be able to look at that again off that 127. Should have another short there. Missed that. We would have definitely took it if I would have noticed it. All right, so that's the only two trades we have left. Microsoft right now, we got out of Apple. Microsoft right now, yeah, just dancing around. There's the 20 fill, so we got it. Like I just said, oh, there's the out there on Nike as well. We just got 52, so that just popped in there. So that's going to be a good trade, so we'll hit the alert for that. And then right now, it looks like Microsoft, I don't know, maybe we'll test a little bit of a short here, breaking through. All right, there we go. We broke through, so we'll punch short immediately on that one. I punched with my own hands, and of course, we get 94s. It's like can't get good prices for sure. And we're just going to give this one a little bit. I just want to see. I mean, let's just see. It broke 240 there. That's generally 240's been a good number. So let's see if it wants to go north or south at 240 here into the close. What a great day for Microsoft, battling all the way back, man. It was absolutely destroyed, as you guys know. We actually had the long at 231. But let's see if Microsoft can give up a little bit here into the close, back. It just took it out. We know there's a sell imbalance. It's definitely weak here. Let's see if it goes. We just punch a little short. We have to be flat at the end of every day. So we'll take a bid right now and take that out as we actually just got into Apple, which we did not mean to. So let's go back over to that quickly.
Yeah, and with so little time left, this is what I'm doing on Alibaba. It sucks. but it just keeps on testing this high, and every time it gets to the high and doesn't break it, I just take a little bit more out, because one of two things is going to happen. The market's three things. It's going to break higher and I'll be happy, it'll break lower and I won't like it, or it's going to close right here at 4 o'clock and I have to get flat anyway. So as much as it's not actually going to end up being losing trade, it'll end up being fine. Mullen might make... I joked about it, and now it seems like it could really be true. Mullen's right back up to 35. Maybe it does actually go at 4 o'clock. It feels like that's definitely going to be the case here. And I'll hold on to one last little bit of a firm here. As it starts, maybe cancel that bid, cancel all these bids. Just to give it one chance, I'm going to hold on to the last like 20%. And if it breaks this 14 and do a late day flush, fair enough. But at this point, it can't turn into a loser. So we'll just hang on to all 4 of these. Got my stop orders in at 355. There's usually an update on the floor, so when balances tend to shift at that time. So unless something crazy happens at 55, I've got my trailing stops in here. Just a matter of where we go. I've got the trades managed. I won't be in any of these positions at 4 o'clock unless I screw up.
All right, so it was a good idea, I guess, to go short off Microsoft because we cashed it out, and then just right there, it just breaks back above. So look at those outs, man. 60s, that was a winning trade. It just sucks that it went back up. We stopped out at the same spot that we got in at, right? So that's why you're seeing it there as a good winning trade. As right now, there it is. Let's see what these imbalances do on the reload there. Amazon still, it's 355. Amazon still a buy. Look at Microsoft ripping right back up to the upside right now. Does it want to keep going? I don't know. We're actually made money on that trade, which is wow. I can't believe like what we're doing. That's why sometimes now I have over almost 500 fills on the day. Microsoft really ripping up right now into the close. Wow. What does it want to do here? Look at the NASDAQ bouncing as well. Wow. Big moves here into the close. It's just an epic day. Like that's what I feel like. Like I feel exhausted. Like
I'm getting out of a firm.
I mean, we're gonna have to have a lot of fun here tonight as we're going out.
It'll be good times.
We'll be good times, but I'm exhausted. These drinks are gonna hit pretty hard. Stay tuned on Twitter. I'll tweet out some pictures.
I have a lucky number of fills. I got 222 today, right now. And I like the number 22. I've said it many times there. But I'm out of a firm. It did another chance to break out. Forget it. It won't go. And it's not luck or anything. I was about to say my luck in Alibaba. There is now an iceberg at 120.30, which essentially means every time it gets... Why am I looking at the SPY here? I didn't even pull up the SPY. Every time it gets to 130, you only see a few hundred shares there, but it hits it for like 10,000, 20,000, and it's just like nothing. It never breaks. Like there's not a lot of shares on the offer, but you better believe it's not breaking this offer. With less than 5 minutes to go, just going to have to get out of all of these, including Mullen, whether this breaks or not. Shopify. At this point, I'd like to see it fall further, but I might not do better than 47 even, which is fine. It'll at least have been my best trade this afternoon, but what can you do? It never fell all the way to VWAP on the retracement, so I'm just going to throw the bid here at 47 even and see how far it can go. Mullen's doing absolutely nothing. We got some earnings to get to. You might have heard of a certain EV company that's reporting tonight. Let's see what else there is, Brendo.
Hey guys, yeah, big day today, obviously, but more to come, a ton, in fact, after market tonight and before the open tomorrow for earnings.
Oh, yeah, Tesla.
Oh, is that the one you meant? Okay,
Yeah,
good.
that's what I
Yeah.
Oh, we
all right,
forgot
LBS
MasterCard.
is there. Las Vegas Sands should be pretty interesting. Big Blue is there. That should be a good report as well. I know you were looking at Mobileye. I have Nucor, so we'll see what that does tomorrow as well. And
The airlines.
And then back into the airlines. That's what I was going to say. American tomorrow. Should be a lot of good news there. Valero on the oil patch. We just talked about Boyle and everything like that. So we'll see some refining there with Valero. So, ServiceNow. Okay, there's a couple names on there that have been getting killed as well, like ServiceNow and stuff. So we'll see there. Tractor Supply. There's always so many trades. Blackstone, there's a lot of stuff surfacing around Blackstone right now. So, yeah, watch out, man. There's a big BlackRock, Blackstone's, both those names. We're going to wait to see what comes from tomorrow. But, yeah, pretty good, man. If I was a gambling man and playing Tesla earnings, what would I do? Yeah, I mean, how much time is left? 3:58. I mean, I don't know. I always try to, the reason why it's a very kind of, I know it's not a rhetoric question, but it's hard because you saw what Microsoft did yesterday, right? It's like, he was ripping up and then down, and then now it's going to end the day flat. For me, I would say Tesla because of the price, changes and the positive news coming from more sales there on those price changes, I think they could probably guide higher. So, possibly talk about more future sales due to those price changes. So for me, I would just look at the guide. I'm not sure a lot of people care about what happened last quarter. It's always about what they think moving forward. We know supply chain shouldn't be that much of an issue for Tesla, but hey, I mean, there's videos of Shanghai rolling them out, right? Let's get an update on how Austin's doing. We know that they've just added 1.5 million square feet there for the robot and for the truck. So I would say there's a lot of reasons why you could like Tesla here into the close. The semis is a good one. So we'll wait to see on that one. And then plus, hopefully Elon can say, look, forget about Twitter. I'm now here. Let's see what we can do this next year for Tesla. So I would say long, but, to make a call like that is kind of like...
You saw the Microsoft earnings,
in the
man.
air.
Like, how do you, as a trader, maybe there's a scalp trade or, maybe you put like an option spread or something on there, but that's a different story. Tomorrow, I think we'll have some opportunities in Tesla. It is one of those stocks that, typically speaking on earnings, it's a little bit more reasonable to trade is maybe the word I want to use here. Yeah. And don't ignore the other EV names because they can be good. I have to now get out of two things because we're going to drop the countdown on. I try to hold out Baba, and he's still there. That stupid seller in front of 130. I just had to cover that. But in 5, 4, 3, 2, and you had fries, dude? So our production crew, Prad, every single time, Prad will never go out and get fries without sharing. Never.
I actually don't want to get
Never. And Fahad,
He ain't feeling well.
Oh, he's not feeling well? Okay, then I appreciate that because I don't, he's not feeling well, so he doesn't want to pass
He's
it
going to
on.
have a fry in front of everyone then.
I'm not going to call him out anymore, but I like my French fries in the afternoon. Sometimes.
Fahad's loving it.
I'm loving it too.
Yeah, shout out to that in the chat there.
I could
K&E
eat.
flips.
I could eat.
Right there. Yeah, the big guy, Fahad on the bell. Thank you so much for that. As our production team, Fahad and Prad. So every time there's a mistake, you can blame one of those two guys. But thank you, Fahad. Thank you, Prad. Thank you, everybody, today. All right, Brendan, what a wild day, man. I mean, I can't say completely overtraded, but what a crazy wild day here for us all. It was so much fun. The market is still extending here in the after hours. So let's find out where we finished at 4 p.m.
All right, I have Tesla up here just to make sure we don't get cut off by this. It's scheduled for 4:05, so we'll see. But that's the board, 0.33, 0.14, 0.03. We almost got there for the S&P 500, but not bad overall, considering they were all down more than a full % at one point today. As we await for Tesla, guys, bit of a mixed board.
Great day today. I actually got out of half of my Netflix
Great pullback.
as well, around 362. I don't know where it finished. I didn't look at it. I got out during lunch. But yeah, Tesla, we'll be able to watch that. Should be a good report coming through for them. But I sort of said under my breath there that it doesn't really matter what it does now because if we've seen, I mean, it does. We'd like
No,
it
but
to
how
go.
much should Microsoft
It's
matter?
just that's the point, right? And I want to say, a strategy that you could do if you're into Tesla is sort of what Sharif did there with his Netflix trade. And that was if it goes up in the aftermarket and it hits your level, you can still trade out of it.
Yeah.
Make sure that you check with your broker on post and pre-market trading, but that should still be available. I mean, I would say if your platform doesn't allow you to take pre and post market trades, then you may want to switch or don't trade earnings.
No, but if you're an active trader, you need that. You need to have pre and post market. I've said that before. Do not trade small caps without it. If you're actively trading, you need pre and post market. Otherwise, it's too risky, right?
Yes, Fahad always does wear those slippers. So that is something that he always does wear. So, hey, man, be comfortable. Why not? We don't care about that. That's what it's all about. So, all right. Let's go, man. This is going to be a big day for us. Unfortunately, Brendo, I mean, has anything hit yet? Nothing's popping on my scanners.
I'm trying to get over Fahad slippers and fries.
Oh, it's like he's in his house, right? I mean, this guy's just chilling out with his.
Whatever.
Yeah, flip-flops.
Flippers.
I guess.
fine.
Flip-flops.
Right.
Be comfy,
right there.
man.
He's got the Pumas and Pratt has the Adidas, or is it the other way around? Yeah, that's right. I got it.
He's got the Pumas.
Yeah. Pumas v.
At least he's wearing shoes.
Adidas. All right, guys. We could
The
just
trading floor manager sometimes doesn't wear shoes. That's all I'm going to say.
disgusting. But now we're just playing around.
Right now, in fact.
Right now, he's not.
He's not wearing shoes. Well, no, he has his flip-flops.
Are they on his
there.
feet?
They're not on his feet, though. That is true. But I'm sure these guys don't put them on. Anyways, okay. We're just got delayed time here. It doesn't look like Tesla's going to open. So, all right. Yeah, socks and sandals, a very, very hot look. All right. Join us again tomorrow, guys, at 8:30. And we'll have more bangers for you. The watches will have everything written on there. We'll review all the earnings. We'll talk about the names that we think are going to be in play tomorrow and what our plan of action is. So, hey, without any further ado, sleep well because you're going to get these numbers in just a couple minutes. Tesla, IBM, and the rest of them. So for Brendan, Neil, I'm Sean. Thanks to everybody today. Sharif, Luca, great job. We'll catch you on the flip side. It's Trader TV Live. Ciao.